Hey, you guys ready to VC for RWBY?
What? No. We're literally about to watch Daredevil.
Why are you screen sharing? Honey, you didn't.
Did you already announce the next RWBY
The
review?
video is supposed to come out tomorrow.
Tonight?
No, but Pink Fiction, no!
I'ma gear up and take you down.
RWBY volumes. At this point, we can comfortably say that the show has gotten worse with each new volume. The writing quality keeps dropping and dropping until it's just a sludge pile. People claim that volume 5 is the worst volume of RWBY, and I heavily disagree. I don't think volume 6 is the worst volume of RWBY, but I think it's worse than volume 5. My main issue with this volume is the fact that nothing much really happens. The characters are trying to make their way to Atlas, and a bunch of misadventures happen in order for them to get there. None of the characters are developed, and we don't really learn that much about them that makes this volume seem that important to begin with. Most of it could have easily been cut out, or just have our characters in Atlas from the start. If you want characters to go on a journey where they're supposed to reach a place, then have these characters do something relevant that serves some kind of development, or let the viewer learn more about this universe that's also relevant to the narrative of the volume, and not just a few lines of dialogue about how amazing this place is. Because so far we know like the bare minimum. Mistral was like the whole hype surrounding volume 4, and when we reach the place in volume 5, it's not really explored at all aside from some 2D artwork that sorta shows how this place kinda looks like. Volume 6 pretty much falls under the same issue. This is pretty much volume 4 all over again, where characters are trying to make their way to a certain location, but a bunch of nothing happens during this that doesn't really serve the story all that much, with even more stuff that breaks the world building of RWBY even further. If you thought the previous volumes did a bad job at world building, then wait till we go through volume 6.
Anyways, let's watch quality storytelling. Let's watch.
Okay, tell me
Quality
if
torture.
Okay. Quality torture. And once again, I want to mention that everything that's being criticized is based on stuff that the show has told us. I will not be using things that were explained from outside material, like books or comics, in order to criticize the show. This should also go for the people trying to defend the show by using outside material instead of using things from the show itself. Even if I have times to where I complain about stuff from outside material, don't take it as me using that to complain about the show directly, and more so complaining about the info itself. The only time I'm gonna mention outside sources if I think it's relevant enough to bring up, but it won't be used as a definitive thing when it comes to talking about the show's issues. I want to give a huge thanks to Honeycomb and Nobello for helping me out with some of the points in this video.
Like CW's The Flash, like... Man.
CW's the RWBY.
I would rather watch CW Flash than RWBY. At least
you
like
know
the first
what?
season.
You know what? Maybe I would also probably enjoy it way more than RWBY. So I can officially say, yeah, people, I'm right. The Flash is better than RWBY. The volume starts off with our heroes on a train fighting unversed. I mean, despite the fact that it's not really where the volume begins. I guess they just wanted to start it off with a big fight scene. During this, we see Jean having to pull up this shield and blocking all of the attacks. And from the looks of it, Jean still didn't decide to get a long-ranged weapon. All he has been using so far is just his sword. And like I said in the last volume, this all could have been avoided if Jean at the very least decided to utilize dust in his weapons. Yet he still didn't decide to do that. So after that, we cut to Adam in the throne room with voices in the background talking about how he has betrayed them.
Step away from my throne. We have work to do.
We? Everyone knows what you did. You abandoned your brothers at Haven.
We heard you folded the moment you got sass from the Belladonna girl. I guess she's got more control over you than you... What?
When, like I said previously, this doesn't even make any sense in the context of what was happening. They were all overwhelmed and were forced to surrender. It was a bad situation for them where they had to retreat. And if Adam didn't escape, then he would have been arrested just like the rest of them. They would obviously think that the plan went south and Adam managed to escape. How does that automatically mean that he betrayed all of you? Why wouldn't the plan in their mind be that with your leader's help, there is still a chance to free your bodies? Was there never a situation where your plan went south and while some of your guys got either under fire or have been arrested, that you had to retreat and fight another day? What about when they were all fighting back in volume 1 to 3 and they were all like getting killed? So they're fine with their bodies getting killed, but they're not fine with their bodies getting arrested? Did Adam even attempt to tell his allies that they still have a chance to free their brothers and sisters? No, he just decided to kill all of them because Adam is is now just a spiteful lunatic like Blake described him to be in Volume 5, despite the fact that that wasn't even his entire character in early volumes, considering his character revolved around being put in a world that did terrible things to him, and he likely could have been abused and tortured, especially when he was a slave to the Schneid Dust Company, but we'll get to that later on. So after this we cut to this train station where Crow is writing a letter to Ironwood. He mentions that it has been 2 weeks since the attack at Haven.
It's been 2 weeks since the attack on Haven.
And keep this one in mind because it will be relevant for later on. So after a bunch of shenanigans we get introduced to these two weirdos. Wow, are my eyes deceiving me? Are those huntsmen? Huntsmen who aren't any of the teachers that are alive and actually do things? Oh my god, RWBY finally innovates where RWBY has never innovated before.
It broke new ground!
Oh, wait a minute. As a matter of fact, those two are shown to be not that useful throughout the episodes that they appear in, and they're portrayed like incompetent fools. So the first time the show actually shows huntsmen that aren't the teachers or dead somewhere, and they're portrayed like a bunch of weaklings who can't seem to do anything right. If that's the case, then how did they graduate any huntsman academies?
I do hope those weren't Beacon graduates.
What? Wait, what do you mean? Is there a difference between how they graduate? Is there a difference in skill? In like where they...
I guess
what is
he-
that dialogue?
I guess he was trying to say that it would be bad if like such bad people came from his school, but like
You mean
but they
like
came from the other
Raven?
schools and suck.
You mean like Raven and Crow who were thieves?
Like, not just thieves, but part of a bandit clan who
Yeah,
were murdered.
Oh yeah, also
Where the huntsmen?
also like also Raven's literally a murderer.
Yeah, like,
Because she went to the freaking huntsman school in the first place.
Yeah, he came to his school.
Oh god,
literally
that's such a
trained-
stupid line. God. Like every fucking line of dialogue is just a problem.
that's just RWBY.
And keep in mind, he chose Raven and Crow of all people to have Maiden, like his magic.
Yeah, exactly.
you-
Instead of like
like-
Glinda or anyone else who's more dependent.
Like, Crow, like, literally has a bad luck semblance. Like, why is he around these kids? Like,
Exactly.
no.
Maybe
No.
he's
Blame on them.
maybe he's the reason why the train gets attacked because of his bad luck semblance.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
we
then-
should throw him off. That's how it's gonna fix everything. But don't worry about that. We'll get to that soon enough.
We can make sure your passenger car gets extra special attention should things get dangerous.
What? What the
I got a tip for
Wait, wait, aren't they adult? Wait, where they trying? Wait, was that guy trying? Was he trying to hit on?
Like-
The burden of saving the world feels overwhelming. But then people like that come along and make me grateful that it's our job and not theirs.
You're grateful about the fact that it's you guys and not actually fully trained huntsmen who are actually good at their job? Did you forget what happened in Volume 5? And the only reason you guys are alive is not only because of plot armor, but because of the fact that if Raven wasn't there to fight Cinder and the people of Menagerie showed up at the last minute with Elia stopping the bombs from going off, then all of you would have died. The only reason everything worked out in the end is due to sheer coincidences. And you're happy that saving the world is being handled by a bunch of first year students? You cannot be serious. Even then, did Crow not actually bother getting any help from any of the huntsmen that were still around? Not only did Blake establish that there are huntsmen still around in Mistral, but also Crow in his letter mentioned that huntsmen also showed up to help. I mean, sure, we can probably assume that they could have declined because they need plenty of help in Mistral, but this was never addressed in the show, especially since huntsmen were willing to help during the invasion on Haven, according to Blake.
More police are on their way, Adam. Huntsmen too.
So it's likely that there would be plenty of huntsmen around that can both occupy themselves with the whole unverse situations that's supposedly going on there, and going to Haven to help protect the school. I guess Crow just forgot to ask. After this we cut to Blake and Elia. Yes, Ilya is not sent to prison and walking around freely. They literally decided to let this crazed lunatic walk around because she learned her lesson. Need I remind you that not only was she completely fine with the destruction on Beacon and letting children be in danger, but also she was the woman who was fine with murdering Blake's parents and sending her back to Adam, the guy who really hates her. You get to send all of those White Fang members to prison. Yet Ilya is just the only one who doesn't deserve to go to prison for all the horrible things that she's done. Pfft, what's a little murder, am I right, guys? It's just a prank, bro. Actions have consequences? Pfft, nah, leave it. Listen to the sad music. She's just an innocent little Pookie bear. Seriously, why are they allowing her to walk freely and not suffer any consequences for her actions? Is this RWBY or 13 Reasons Why?
Saving Haven had a huge impact on how Faunus are seen in Mistral.
Why?
Why? Wait, not the fact that they're huntsmen? Protecting people? Because they saved Mistral. Had a huge impact.
Minorities fighting other minorities cause
minorities fighting other minorities cause So after this, Sun and Tyler Ninja show up and say their goodbyes to Blake.
Seeing you reunited with the rest of Team RWBY really made me realize something. I'm like the worst team leader ever.
What? Since when is Sun a bad team leader? He just says that, but the show has never hinted on the fact that his team doesn't like him or have any issues with him. I mean, considering we never really saw the other two on Sun's team that much aside from them fighting in the tournament. And Tyler Ninja doesn't seem to have any problems with him either. So why is this line even here? So anyway, Sun explains that he and his team decided to transfer to Shade Academy in Vacuo due to Haven being temporarily shut down due to Lionheart's death and the Academy staff, I guess. But I don't get it. Did they not tell Sun about Salem and the maidens and all that stuff? You have no reason to keep it a secret from him. And why wouldn't they ask Sun and his team to come along? Crow was unable to find any huntsmen to help them, and since the first year students are still coming along in this mission, why didn't they have Sun and his team to come and help them? Like, I know I crap on the show a lot for getting first year students involved in the first place, and Ozpin for no reason not having any huntsmen on this team prepared beforehand, in case something like his death and the attack on Beacon would have occurred, but it's better than nothing at all. I mean, I'd be honest, that likely would not have been able to write them in any interesting way, so I understand why people wouldn't want them to join in, but it would have made more sense for them to come along anyways. Sun is there to help out his friends, and they're going up against the people who attacked them. Nah, frick you guys, I guess. It's not like we almost died last volume and could need all the help that we can get or anything. You cannot be serious. So now they're on a train where we see this mysterious old lady. Oh boy, I sure wonder who this could be. So Blake is all sad and RWBY asks Yang to play video games. Yang is about to grab her bag, but Blake comes in and gets it for her, implying that she still feels bad over what happened and wants to make it up to her.
I'm fine. We're gonna be fine. It's just gonna be a bit before things are back to normal.
Back to normal? You literally forgave her in the last volume and you all hugged it out. I mean, let's not forget the fact that Yang shouldn't automatically be fine with her being back without apologizing or even explaining where she was this whole time. Despite her even saying that there's nothing that this volume actually does to fix their relationship properly. But don't worry, we'll get to that when we get there. Yang is glad that they're all back together again, as if she just ignores what Blake did. Conflicts with our characters? Pfft, what is that? But uh-oh, before they can do that, the train is getting attacked by Unversed, with those two already being ready for a fight. Are you kidding me? What the heck was your plan here? Just fight them head on? First of all, why did your friend not start shooting? He has a gun and they're currently being attacked. And also, do you not have any long-ranged weapons? And also, he gets grabbed by an Unversed so easily and dies. If it's so easy to kill a huntsman, then how did this world survive with all these Unversed running around? Once again, I need to remind people the things the kids were able to do in the past volumes. Huntsmen should be way more experienced than them at this point. Also, I need to remind you people that RWBY can fly using her semblance and has super speed. The speed to which she can fly a person with is faster than the train, as shown at the beginning of the episode. Why did RWBY not try and save that person? She just left him to die. Or what about Weiss with her glyphs? Let's also not forget the fact that she has time dilation. She could have given herself or RWBY more time to try and save that guy. Or she could have summoned the Wasp to catch him. The Wasp has been established to be fast enough to catch up with an airship.
I'm not good at a lot of memory-related things. It's really
really, really bad.
Something I want to note is that in my Volume 5 video, someone commented that Weiss has to use lightning dust in order to use time dilation, which first of all, the show has never explained that this is something that needs lightning dust, like at all. It was likely explained somewhere outside of the show, which I have stated shouldn't count when you are trying to criticize or defend the show. And they even told me that, well, it's obvious because we can easily refer from the color of the glyph that it's yellow, that it uses lightning dust. Which, sure, you could have a case here. If she uses fire, then why doesn't her glyph turn red in this shot when it did in Volume 5? And there are times where she uses ice and her glyphs just stay white. It's also hard to really tell what counts as her using dust or just her glyphs when you don't show Weiss changing the dust in her weapon, because all the other times her glyphs stay white, she can just do other things and she can also turn them black, which just has a different usage entirely, and there's no sign that she's using dust at all. So all I thought was that this is just the look of the glyph when using time dilation. I honestly hate the whole lightning dust thing, because that was never implied at all. Like, we never see her use other dust for more specific abilities only she can do. Like, can ice dust put someone in stasis? Can rock dust give her extra protection? Can wind or gravity dust be used to make herself fly? So as it stands, I'm gonna say that it doesn't use lightning dust, because not only was it never implied, but also we never saw her change the dust from her weapon. And even if you want to say that, Weiss could have easily have lightning dust on her all the time. It's an extremely useful ability that she would want to be using constantly. So she should always carry a good amount of lightning dust with her, so that it could be used for moments like this. Oh, but Pyro, they're just teens. They aren't able to quickly think on their feet, and they had a very short time to react during a stressful situation.
What's the plan, Ruby?
Don't let anyone else die!
Good, got it, great, good.
Also gotta love how they let Ruby make the decision and not the fully trained adult huntsman.
Why did they just ran up to like that Grimm?
What's the plan, Ruby? Don't let anyone else die. Okay, thank you for that plan. Whatever, just attack. So during the fight, this one guy whose name I don't want to bother to remember activates all of the train's defenses. Why didn't he activate all of this from the beginning? You saw that there is an army of unversed outside flying around and everything, yet you didn't think to turn on all of the defenses before heading out? The turrets are one-shotting all of the unversed. Wow, they seem to be pretty useful.
Hey, what are you doing? How can I help? You can get that idiot to shut off the turrets. We're just drawing the Grimm toward the passengers.
What? You seriously think it's a good idea to turn off the turrets who are really good at one-shotting all of the unversed because they're attracting more unversed? You mean they think that negative emotions would do anyways because unversed are attracted to negative emotions? It literally wouldn't matter if the turrets are on because the negative emotions from the passengers are attracting them anyways. Heck, not just that, but all the windows have been locked down and the train put up all kinds of shields. Crow is literally asking him to turn off the train's defenses that are meant to fight off unversed in the first place and are shown to be super effective because they can one-shot smaller unversed. And all you guys do is hit the unversed multiple times in order to take them down. You guys have guns and are shooting around the place as well. You cannot be serious. The only downside is that it's not able to kill the big unversed and it called in more of the smaller ones. So obviously you would think that the best idea would be for you and the others to take down the big one first and leave the smaller ones to the turrets, and ask some of you guys to shoot guns to help out as well while the other team is busy taking down the big unversed. But no, they seriously think that it's a good idea to turn off all of the turrets because they rather fight all of them on the train, I guess. So there's a tunnel and everyone is making their way inside the train, but uh-oh, the guy broke his arm by hitting the wall. Oh no. this shouldn't actually be happening in the first place, because once again, these characters have aura, which was shown to be able to take a lot of heavy blows in the early volumes. I know they have been acting even more inconsistent ever since volume 4 and pretend as if they drain a lot quicker, but that's still an issue with the show and shouldn't be happening. So he shouldn't even be breaking his arm, unless we're supposed to believe that he just forgot to turn on his aura, which is just stupid because common sense would make them want to turn on their aura when they're out there fighting an army of unversed. You cannot be serious. Crow is also acting incredibly rude to him despite the fact that he's just doing his job. But don't worry, we need RWBY over here to convince this guy to turn off the train's only means of defense. I need to remind you people that if Team RWBY and the others didn't show up, then the turrets and those two would have been the train's only means of defense. So the turrets wouldn't be there just to put people in danger. They clearly thought that if huntsmen aren't around, then the turrets would be there to defend the passengers. It's also incredibly stupid because why would the train not have any defenses against higher level unversed? The turrets are only able to take down the smaller ones, but only 2 huntsmen are there to defend the train? You cannot be serious. So they come up with the plan of masking the train with Ren's semblance and Jean's help to boost his aura. But then Osmond comes in to explain to everyone that the unversed are also attracted to the relic they have been carrying this whole time.
Oz, are you serious?
Why wouldn't you tell us that?
It doesn't matter right now.
Why did he bother telling the others? He literally has no reason to keep it a secret from everyone at all. I know Osmond has trust issues, but what does not telling them about the relic attracting unversed do exactly? Let's also not forget the fact that Crow has a bad luck semblance. So Crow could just be giving everyone bad luck by being on the train. And despite them pointing out that the thing they've been carrying has been attracting unversed all this time, the guy doesn't get mad at them or deny their demand because these idiots have been attracting unversed from the very beginning. He just easily gives up and lets them do their thing, despite the fact that he has no reason to trust them at all when they have been carrying a device that attracts unversed. Why didn't you mention
that? None of your business. Oz, are you serious?
No, that is his business. Yeah, this thing that might be affecting the safety of everyone here. None of your business.
Yes. And he got, and the guy doesn't even lash out. The guy does nothing to like lash out on these idiots.
Like, why would he change?
He's less of the dick here than they are, which is hilarious.
After that, they showed this, so that's interesting. With this info, it's shown to us that the characters have the ability to use short-distance communication. So even when the towers are down, they are able to communicate with each other under a small range, which I believe is also what was going on when Blake was able to call her parents in Volume 5, which is something I missed somehow. This isn't really a complaint with the show, I just find it interesting that they can do such a thing. Remember that so far the only thing we really knew is that they were only able to communicate within the kingdoms due to the Veil Tower being down. So this is new info of something the scrolls can do. So that's cool. So during this, they try and keep the unversed in place, while Weiss is somehow able to stand on her glyph, hovering over a speeding train. So Weiss is just as fast as the train. She is able to freeze the wings off this thing and break them off, which just reaffirms my point in Volume 5 that Weiss could have done the same thing with the wasp instead of wasting all this dust and then summon the knight. So they hold it still so that Crow and RWBY can cut off its head. I mean, Weiss could have done the same thing with her knight instead of doing all of this, but whatever. And somehow RWBY is able to jump in the air and land further on the train despite the fact it's a moving, speeding train. But whatever, who cares about gravity? So after the train crashed, we see that this old lady for some reason decided to stay back. I know this is information from later on, but why would Maria want to stay behind with these guys in the first place? She's an old, retired huntress that can't really do much at all. It's not like she stayed behind because she knew RWBY had silver eyes, because she couldn't tell what her eye colors are with how she sees the world with her lenses. So the only reason she's here is because the script says so. You cannot be serious. Remember when I said it's weird that RWBY and Weiss are playing tag? Like Weiss's character, from what we know from like Weiss's character, she wouldn't do that. It's so weird that they, but we have to put them because...
No, Volume 2 Weiss.
What do you mean, Volume 2 Weiss?
Well, yeah, Volume, you're talking about Weiss from Volume 1. We don't talk about her. She doesn't exist.
I'm talking about Weiss in general. No, that's not even
Weiss from Volume 2.
No, not even. Like, I know she acts a bit silly,
the Weiss
but
from Volume 2 is her genetic clone.
Shut the yeah, it's a scroll. It's a scroll. Of course, we're getting to that turn.
It's a scroll.
She stole 5 bags of caramel corn. That's what she did.
If you were with Blake,
They're just spoiling events for the voice. They're literally spoiling events for them later on. Are they? Did they run out of creativity that they had to spoil events from freaking later on? Because I don't recall like the early volumes being so heavily.
I mean, they're kind of taking the anime rubber approach of seeing like the events.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it good.
But
doesn't make it good.
But they are like very unsubtle.
Remember how like Sword Art Online Season 2 literally spoils Defcon's identity in the open?
Oh yeah.
So the episode starts off with Cinder emerging from the water. Great, she's still alive. They even show that her abilities are kinda weak or something. I don't really know what the purpose of that is. Are they saying she became weak? Her maiden powers don't work properly? Or is it just because she's currently wet because she just emerged from water and her fire powers don't seem to work? Either way, it doesn't affect her in any way. Despite the fact they made it seem like it's a significant thing. And it's not like her strength disappeared, considering she slammed her fist to the ground and somehow made a crack to the wall so she can escape. Most video game logic ever. So she escapes the place and falls on the ground. And it just so happened a woman was there in the middle of nowhere checking up if she's okay. But then Cinder kills her and she steals her clothes. After this we get a flashback of Team RWBY at the house from Volume 5. And Nora even points out the fact that they have been at this house all the time.
I mean, bright side, we finally get out of this house.
You pointing out the issue in your story doesn't automatically make it better. Basically, Osmond says that they have to get the relic to Ironwood and Atlas, because the Maiden is no longer here to seal the relic in the vault. And since the borders are closed in Atlas, the only place for them to get to Atlas is from Argus. Osmond also explains how the lamp works. Basically, you can ask it any question you want, but the downside is that it can't answer questions from the future and only answers 3 questions every 100 years. Cutting back to the future, Yang for some reason is struggling to lift her bike from the snow, despite the fact that Aura can boost your strength, but whatever. So everyone is getting really angry about the fact that Osmond didn't tell them that the relic attracts unversed. I don't really understand how this makes Osmond seem incredibly suspicious. Obviously I find it kinda stupid that he didn't tell them something like this, but at the same time it would be reasonable to assume that he just forgot to mention it. And instead of Osmond just saying that he just simply forgot to mention it, considering he hasn't used the relic in a while, he does say that the reason for it is because he thought it would just add anxiety and negativity and that it seems like the best option, which is a stupid answer because you think them being surprise attacked by an unversed is a better option? You cannot be serious.
Is that what you chose to lie to everyone about Lionheart too?
Yes, as a matter of fact. I believed the kingdom of Mistral deserved better than the truth. And I believed Leonardo deserved to be remembered for his lifetime of service, and not the unfortunate missteps he made in his final years. What Professor Lionheart did was reprehensible. I am not here to argue differently, but does one lapse in judgment truly negate all of his good? Do we not all have regrets? You may have met Professor Lionheart, but you never met the man he was before Salem found him.
We're supposed to be in this together. You can trust us. We're not gonna turn our backs on you.
Do you really think Leo was the first? That he didn't say those exact same words to me? I'm sorry, but you have to understand that my behaviors are backed by experience. I'm not saying that I have reason to think you will betray me. I'm saying that I have reasons for the things that I do, the secrets I keep.
Damn, sounds like Osmond has been through a lot. And by the way, despite the fact the scene established that the relic is attracted by unversed, throughout the rest of the show, they never really account for that at all, and the unversed never really show up because it's attracted by the relic. So this rule is only here for this drama to happen and nothing else. So Oscar is trying to resist Osmond and he tells RWBY that the name of the genie in the lamp is Jin. So this blue mommy shows up and reveals to everyone that they have 2 more questions left, despite the fact that Osmond said that all the questions got used up already. But before we move on with that, we cut back to Cinder just wandering around in this village. Then we see this wanted poster that says that they have last been seen at Haven Academy approximately 1 month ago. 1 month ago? You're telling me that 1 month have passed ever since the events of Volume 5? But previously Crow said that 2 weeks have passed since the attack at Haven.
It's been 2 weeks since the attack on Haven.
So I'm assuming that this is another one of those weird timeline things where Team RWBY's story happens before Cinder's. I thought Cinder waking up happened moments after her fight with Raven. How the heck did she survive a whole month underwater? And it's not like this is a time skip because the scenes seem to happen simultaneously. And I don't see how this can be an argument argument when Cinder just got these clothes and just arrived at this nearby village? Unless we're meant to believe that this woman walked for a whole month to where Cinder is, and later on one of the spider people at the bar said that Hazel talked to them like a week ago.
Well, miss, we already know where they are. That big guy asked about him last week.
I know we know.
So how the heck was Cinder able to survive being deep underwater while her aura was gone and unconscious for a whole month without dying? You cannot be serious. Look at these screenshots.
But oh my gosh, look how stupid Cinder is here. She needed to see like that a wanted poster to realize, oh shoot, they're gonna be after me.
Approximately.
And I should cover my face.
Wait.
Yeah,
Hold
she
on,
literally walked into town without seeing.
Hold on. Last known location, Haven Academy, approximately 1 month ago.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, 1 month ago.
Wait, 1 month passed?
1 month
passed?
I thought this was just like a week or so ago, but it's 1 month.
Like,
how did she survive a whole month out there? She should be dead.
Yeah. How did like?
Oh my god, this is worse than I imagined.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm gonna have to like Miles and Carrie. I'm gonna have to explain something very complicated to them. Like 1 month is a pretty long time to be underwater. Like most people wouldn't survive half a day underwater.
She had her aura turned off, even accounting Dad.
Yeah.
What the? Is this supposed to be another one of those? The timeline and this happens after what happens with Team RWBY. Is this what this is supposed to be?
So it's Team RWBY and Atlas, right? So it is Volume 7 happening right now?
I'm so confused. Even worse is that if Cinder is just down there and that she's still wanted, why didn't Crow and Osmond think to check out if she's still down there, since the area of the vault is her last known location and there are no other exits that they know of? Did they not think to check that place out during those 2 weeks? You cannot be serious. So Cinder notices the spider symbol and decided to go to this place for some reason. It's not really sure if she knows them or anything, but whatever. So she talks to this lady and asks her to find the location of Team RWBY. Those look like Monopoly cards.
Oh my gosh,
those look like Monopoly cards. We're gonna play some Monopoly.
You wanna play?
There is some weird conversation they're having about this lady talking about how she has spider people working for her, and Cinder looks surprised for some reason, despite the fact that the concept of having people work for you shouldn't be news to Cinder, considering what she accomplished in Volume 1 to 3.
I'm not good at a lot of memory-related things. It's really, really bad.
By the way, I just love Cinder's arc in this volume. Do you guys remember what Cinder's arc is in this volume?
She has an arc in this volume?
Like, apparently, according to the writers, in this arc, she learns how to be manipulative and use pawns.
No. She did that already in Volume 1.
Yeah, but the writers forgot that she did that. They acted as if she was just some brute. But in reality, it's like she was.
How do they forget their own characters?
That's the
They
whole
somehow
thing.
flanderized Cinder. They somehow flanderized Cinder.
Yeah, like that's the whole thing with like her conversation with the spider lady. Like when Cinder's like, "You learn to kill them," and the spider lady is like, "Nah, the world needs spiders. I just learned how to make the spiders work for me." And that's how Cinder gets Neo on her side, like, you know.
But she
Like-
recruited Torchwick, Adam,
Mercury, and
Mercury.
Also, even when also when she confronted Adam at the camp, she could have been overpowered by Adam's group right there, but like she was still like negotiable instead of just being straight up threatening. So she does understand how to that power doesn't always get you what she wants.
Literally first time she met Adam, like she tries to be diplomatic. It's only second time when she stupidly goes brute force.
Yeah, and that was because she wanted a solution rather than just straight up threatening. Like she wasn't even straight up threatening towards
Mercury or
towards
Emerald.
Torchwick.
Like with Emerald, Emerald was like, "You need a place to belong. I'll give you a place to belong." And Mercury's like, "Hey man, You want to kill people? I have people you can't kill.
And remember, they sent in Cinder alone, so she should be able to. So she should be able to manipulate
so they trust
people.
her. So they trust her enough to like handle like those side tests, which I assume Salem would have tried to like see what Cinder can do like on her own and whatnot, for like being like more so confident to allow her to take on like bigger tasks.
By the way, I don't know if the animation somehow got worse, but some of the humans in the background just look freakishly weird and out of place. So cutting back to these clowns, Crow is like trying to reason with them peacefully and they threaten him with assault. You know, Yang and Ruby's own uncle, by the way. So Ruby asks Jin what Ozpin is hiding from them, and then we get treated to like one of the worst backstories I have ever seen. So basically, Salem was a young woman who was locked away by her father for some reason. They never explained why she was locked up, and she desires freedom, but then a legendary hero approaches to save her named Ozma. He saved her from being locked up and they both fell in love and lived happily ever after. But then Ozma died due to being ill, and this was also a time where the gods were still around, so Salem decided to visit the god of light and asks him to resurrect him, yet the god of light denies her request and tells her to understand the meaning of life and death. The show portrays it like she doesn't understand how the idea of death works. But this aspect of her character was never really explained where it came from. I assumed because she was locked up in her room this whole time, but like, does she not have a mother? Why did they not bother exploring that? The god of light doesn't even want to bother trying to make her understand and just teleports her in front of the stairs. So instead she decided to go to the god of darkness, and Jin says this.
The god of darkness. None dared to enter his home, as men knew what monstrosities emerged from his blackened pools of annihilation.
So she's the first person to ever come to this place and meet the god of darkness. Not only does it seem to be incredibly unbelievable, given how many brave warriors would be out there like Ozma, who also have magic by the way, but also doesn't that literally go against the whole idea that the humans are able to choose between the light and dark side according to Crow's story in volume 4?
It would be given the power to choose, to have free will, to take everything it had learned and decide which path to follow, the path of light or the path of darkness.
If humans are able to freely choose between light and dark side, then why did no one ever dare to join the dark side or visit the god of darkness? Why does the god of darkness not have any worshippers?
What have you done?
I have done what I please, brother. You may bask in the powers of creation, but you do not own them.
This is not creation.
But it literally is creation. So the brothers are about to fight, but the god of light explains to him that she was trying to troll him in order to get what she wants, and the brother sees that he was wrong. So as a punishment for what she did, they made her immortal until she learns the importance of life and death. What makes this so bad, however, is the fact that the brothers never seem to bother actually helping her learn the importance of life and death, which the story never even criticizes the brothers for. The only thing that Team RWBY ever focus on is the fact that she's immortal. They don't ever seem to care about what the gods have done. So Salem realizes that if she's able to manipulate the gods, she could manipulate other kingdoms into being on her side and punish the gods for what they did. So you're telling me that like thousands of years ago, she was able to trick kingdoms into serving her, yet she never attempted to do the same thing in the present day? Salem is literally immortal and more powerful than ever. You are seriously telling me that she's unable to undermine Ozpin despite the fact that she is an immortal witch? Really? It's especially bad when somehow no one around the world seems to know about Salem's existence. But we'll go more into that soon. So she rounds up all the people to go after the brothers, but the god of darkness wipes out all of humanity, and they both agree to restart the whole world once again. And it also explains why the moon is broken, because the god of darkness decided to break it so that they can destroy the world, I guess. Salem wandered the world alone, filled with hatred towards the gods, but then she made her way back to the land of darkness and thought that if she fell into a pool of unversed, she could finally die, but instead created a monster. So we cut to Ozma, who the god of light has summoned, and he gives him the task of uniting humanity with one another, and with the power of all the relics, he is able to summon the brothers' gods and humanity will be judged. And if they achieve to live in harmony with one another, the gods will once again live among them, and until his task is complete, he will reincarnate in a different person's body. This almost sounds like he doesn't even factor in Salem and reuniting humanity, despite the fact she's supposed to learn her own lesson. So he was reincarnated into someone else's body and now lives in a world unfamiliar to him.
In a world completely unfamiliar to him. Cities look different. Creatures known as the Faunus bore fangs and claws and were locked away in cages.
And this is all we are given to the backstory of the Faunus. Yep. We are given absolutely no history on them. It's as if the show doesn't care, despite the fact a big part of the story was the whole racism angle. You know, Ospen doesn't really seem to have much agency in his own backstory, despite the fact that they're all villainizing Ospen later on. If anything, it just further victimizes Ospen. He seems to have little control over what is happening.
And without the blessing of the gods, no one could perform magic like mankind was once capable of.
You know, I thought dust wasn't supposed to be magic according to what the character said in past volumes.
We have dust, semblances, but I mean, there's no such thing as magic.
But the way she talks about it and Ospen looking at the dust, it almost makes it seem like they're implying that dust is magic. Why are you saying dust isn't magic, but at the same time make it seem like it is? Why can't you just accept that dust is magic? So Ospen visits Salem in her abandoned looking house. But hold on a second, what happened to her becoming a creature with a desire of pure destruction?
It created a being of infinite light, with a desire for pure destruction.
She's a creature who desires destruction, yet all she did was just stay in her house. Shouldn't you be out there causing havoc? Did she even do anything at all?
Salem, fearing Ozma would reject her, blamed the end of the world on the gods.
I mean, it pretty much is their fault. The God of Darkness could have killed only the humans who were invading them and warned Salem not to mess with them or threatened to destroy them if they disobey, yet they immediately decided to wipe out all of humanity.
He had found happiness, but humanity seemed more divided than ever before.
Yeah, remember, just humanity and not the Faunus.
This world is quite literally godless. These humans have no one to guide them. Perhaps that's all they need. We could become the gods of this world. Our powers surpass all others. Our souls transcend death. We can mold these lands into whatever we want. What you want.
I thought Salem wanted pure destruction due to the goop she fell into, yet now she wants to rule over them. You see, this is kind of the issue with what Salem's motivations are. Like, she talks about wanting to rule over humanity, but that's contradictory to her desire of pure destruction. We are 9 volumes in the show, and we have no idea what Salem's actual motivations are, because they keep on contradicting each other. This backstory tells us that she wants to rule over humanity, yet she never did it in the present day, so that can't be her motivation, which is weird considering having humanity on her side would only benefit her, but whatever. So why would she want to get the relics? Well, one thing that some fans keep telling me is that all she wants is to die, so she believes that in order to achieve it, she would have to get all the relics in order to summon the gods and obliterate Remnant. But how the heck does she know for sure that the brothers would do that for her? She literally has no way of knowing that, and the gods could just be still keeping her alive or give her a different punishment. So her entire motivation revolves around her being an idiot. On the other hand, people think that she wants to gather the relics so that Ospen can't use them to summon the gods, so that she can actually create a world under her rule. But if she wants to rule over humanity, why hasn't she done it already? Even if she possesses just one relic, Ospen can use it to summon the gods, and Salem is immortal. She can't die. She has magical abilities and she has an army of Unversed by her side. So at this point, Salem should have already won. Yet it's been like thousands of years and Salem somehow achieved absolutely nothing. Despite this being a backstory to Salem, it gives us no true way of figuring out what her motivation is exactly. What makes it even weirder is that apparently there is a guidebook that tells us that Salem wants to rule the world by seeking the 4 relics and absorb the maiden's powers. How is she gonna do that? With the beetle? By that point, why would she even need Cinder to begin with? Like, this guidebook just highlights that Salem is just a one-note bad guy. Like, I'm not gonna use this guidebook to criticize the show because that's outside material, but it just shows that the show does not communicate what Salem wants in the present day well at all. That not even outside material knows and has to make stuff up. Like, it's so funny that there are fans who think all Salem wants is to die by getting the relics, because it seems like no one can really agree on what her actual motivation is. Heck, some people even think that her actual motivation hasn't been revealed yet. So Ozma and Salem make themselves seem like god of this universe and create a new kingdom, and they even created a family by having 4 kids. Gee, they almost look like the 4 maidens? Okay, this is where we go into some bizarre theorizing. So originally I believe that they were implying that they are the original maidens. I mean, they are 4 girls who are able to use magic, so they gotta be the maidens, right? Well, I'm on the side that they actually aren't, because if you remember from Ozpin's story, he gave away the magic to 4 young women. So maybe they weren't the original maidens, but just that the 4 women reminded him of his children and he gifted them magic. The children figured out on their own that they have magic. So how could Ozpin have intentionally gifted them a great deal of magic? Jin describes them learning magic was a miracle, and even Ozma looks surprised. So Ozma tells Salem everything about the gods, but Salem is like, let the past die, kill it if you have to.
God, you are 4 of the ugliest f***ing kids I've ever had the misfortune of laying my eyes on. I can't wait for this bitch to kill you.
So Ozma is about to leave with his kids, but then Salem caught him and they fight, causing his kids to die and the castle to crumble.
Thus began a long and painful cycle of death and rebirth for Ozma. Some lives were spent in mourning. Many were spent attempting to forget it all. But no matter what, his mind would eventually turn back to the task he had been burdened with.
So you're telling me throughout all this time and multiple reincarnations over the years, Salem has done absolutely nothing to take over the world? Isn't that her supposed goal? Did she not bother looking for the relics at all? Seriously, this whole backstory just breaks the entire world building of RWBY. We have a witch that is immortal and super powerful that could have had an army of followers on her side, yet in the present day, not only do barely any people in Remnant know of Salem's existence, but it seems like she has done absolutely jack to conquer the world. Once again, Salem should have won a long time ago. You cannot be serious. But anyways, Ozma got his act back together, found all of the relics and sealed them away. This backstory does not explain why Ozpin decided to make his access to the relics so difficult by only limiting it so that only the maidens can open it and that random young women receive the maiden powers once the previous maiden dies. He creates such a weird, convoluted rule that just makes things more complicated if he didn't even know who all the maidens were. Reminder that the Spring Maiden has been gone for 10 years and they didn't know where she was. What if Ozpin needed the relic for emergency sakes and he can't access it because he doesn't have the maiden with him? Why can't he open the vaults himself or find other means that are less complicated? And why hide them under every school where it's such an obvious spot that narrows down the locations of all the relics? Well, aside from the one in Vale for some reason, because he didn't bother giving the same amount of effort to the other relics. So then we see this. They have eyes who look very similar to the ones RWBY has. Are those silver eyes? Well, what makes it even worse is that when you look at characters like Mercury, they have the same shade of gray eyes that RWBY has as well. So does Mercury have silver eyes as well? Well, apparently no. Apparently he has gray eyes. But why would you make them the same exact shade of gray that RWBY has? Why couldn't you make Ruby's eyes look more silver than gray? In the past volumes, it was more clear that his eyes were different colors. Why did no one look at this and realize that it looks the same as Ruby's eyes? Mercury isn't supposed to have silver eyes, yet we see those 2 kids who have very similar looking eyes to RWBY. Are they silver eyes or just gray like Mercury? Are silver eyes supposed to be genetic? Is that why RWBY has silver eyes? Because Summer also has silver eyes? Maria said that her dad had silver eyes, but in this backstory, none of the parents have silver eyes. So, do these kids have gray eyes like Mercury? Did Ozpin give them the ability of the Silver Eyes Warrior? Jin never mentioned anything like that at all. Why are you making the show so stupidly inconsistent and hard to work with? You cannot be serious. She has... Wait, they have silver eyes?
Uh-oh.
Those 2 have silver eyes? What the So, Ozpin...
Wait.
Gave them the silver eyes?
No. I'm gonna assume that those children was children of the person he already inhabiting, that he inhabited after.
So people just so happen to have silver eyes, but they're not the same silver eyes as the silver eyes from RWBY? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was saying like the person, that child, the silver eyes, they didn't come from Ozpin, but either the parent, either one of the parents, I can't, like before Ozpin inhabited, not.
Hold on. No.
Yes.
No.
That's why I said it's. That's why I said it's the.
It's not from
That's
him.
why I said like I'm gonna assume it's from the mom. It's from the mom.
The mom
That's
has
the
blue
eyes.
eyes. The mom has blue eyes.
Her eyes are blue.
Yeah, they're blue.
Wait, that was the mom in the set, right? I thought that was another kid.
No, that's the mom.
Okay,
that's another kid. I mean, all the women in this look the same age in the show, so I have no idea.
Living with the
Look, he has silver eyes. Explain that. RWBY writers. His eyes are literally silver.
Why not just make his eyes brown or black?
Because they forgot.
Everything about him is
that wouldn't even
silver.
match his colors.
What the fuck? Like, I don't understand. You can't keep cheating by being like, oh, these characters don't. Okay, no, I'm looking this up.
I don't even care. Like, they
but
could
I
have
care.
even just like simply retconned. They could have even simply retconned that his eyes was black,
Those
so
Mercury
they don't have
have
to
silver
account for that.
eyes.
All they have to do is just like simply change his eye color, and this wouldn't be a problem. And they could just admit that was just like a simple production mistake. Like,
There's a Reddit post that is like, is it just me or does Mercury have silver eyes? And then the comments are just like, oh, his eyes are gray.
In the world of RWBY, what's the difference between gray
What's
and
the
silver?
difference between gray? Yeah, they both have the same shade of green.
Yeah.
Of gray, not green.
yeah, we just saw his eyes right here. They're clearly silver. They're not gray.
Wait, let me look at his
Also,
outfit, the gray, black.
also notice that we have to be gaslighted to think that isn't.
The wiki says his
silver,
eye
that
color.
is gray.
The wiki says his eye color is gray. Well, come the fuck on. Why is it like the same shade? So I guess the girl. So I guess the girl in the flashback also had gray eyes. I'm guessing.
Notice that we can't. Wait, is this seriously some color tool kind of stuff where you have to be like very specific about to not say that the character doesn't have like a silver, just say like the character doesn't have exactly silver eyes?
Let me look at the pictures side by side. They're the same shade of gray. There's literally no difference. How
The same
how
lighting,
am I
right?
supposed
Because,
to
like,
how am I supposed to tell if they have gray eyes or not? They're literally the same shade of gray. What's the fuck?
Yeah, like
this just highlights how they just have bad color, like color theory.
You could have made
Like,
Ruby's.
if they didn't, they could have made his eyes black, or
You could have
to
made
keep
Ruby's
lines
eyes like.
pattern or whatever.
You could have made Ruby's eyes lighter. Like you could have made them like light gray or something. Like
I'm just gonna say that they should just not have Mercury have gray eyes. It just had it black or whatever.
Like
Because
weren't
like this wouldn't need to be a debate at all.
weren't Ruby's eyes in the earlier volumes like lighter gray? No, it's the same shade. Like sometimes they look lighter, sometimes they don't. Like from what I'm looking at in Google Images. No, so they're just at like coloring their characters properly in order for us to not making these questions just to be like, Miles, I have a question. Does Mercury have silver eyes? No, he has gray eyes. Why are they the same shades? The next question.
How do I destroy Salem?
Not all of them were to his liking. You can't.
Oh, what a shame. You can't destroy the immortal being. Wait, why did you never ask her how you can capture Salem? Just because a villain is immortal doesn't mean you can't capture her. Yet the characters never even acknowledge it. This should be common sense to ask if there's a way to capture Salem instead of killing her. It's the most obvious thing you could ask. Salem
find a way to
herself.
find a way to lock her in a vault. You need a maiden to open it.
Yeah, lock her in the freaking vault. That's literally the answer. What makes this so weird in the first place, considering she gave more info than she should have, is why did Jin not tell Ospen how to capture her if you are willing to go into so much detail about someone? A lot of people say that you have to be very specific with your questioning to Jin, because that's how sly those genies are. That maybe she meant that she can be destroyed, but not by Ospen. But you are forgetting the fact that RWBY gave her a very vague question, which is just...
What is Ozpin hiding from us?
And she was given an entire backstory on Salem, which isn't even from Ospen's POV, when none of this was all that important to begin with, and the only thing that's relevant is the fact that Ospen hid the fact that she is immortal, which is info that we get at the very last minute. And Jin was being very selective about what knowledge as well, cause she deliberately skipped over a huge chunk of Ospen's life he kept hidden. She didn't want to show off how Ospen was actually affected after the deaths of him and his kids. She skimmed over that part, which violates what RWBY asked about. Why didn't Ospen do anything else, like asking Jin a different question to see how to stop Salem? Did he ask Jin about all existing silver-eyed warriors? He would literally be able to track them down before Salem even can. Why wouldn't he ask Jin how silver eyes work? Heck, it doesn't even explain why the unversed are attracted to the relics, when that's the thing Team RWBY were so upset about. And what makes this even worse is that Team RWBY show no empathy towards Ospen for what he has been going through. Cause remember, Ospen had had like little to no agency in his backstory. Everything that happened was out of his control, and they just made him relive his traumatic backstory, which includes watching his own children die again. Was this seriously something that RWBY asked to be shown, or was Jin just being an a-hole to Ozpin? You cannot be serious. This entire scene just proves Ozpin right. Despite the fact that they promised that they won't turn on him, and that he has good reasons to keep certain secrets, all of the characters immediately turn on Ozpin. None of them show any empathy towards him at all. He had to relive his traumatic past and watch his children die, which just makes Team RWBY look like gigantic a-holes. Crow even punches him in the face, forgetting the fact that this is Oscar's body, by the way.
I was cursed. I gave my life to you because you gave me a place in this world. I thought I was finally doing some good.
But you are.
Meeting you was the worst luck of my life.
What?
Wow.
Pause.
What? Literally,
Like,
why though?
Wait.
How? Like, why? Just because the Salem can't be killed, that doesn't mean you haven't done good. You have prevented her from doing greater harm.
Amber would have died, and Cinder would have gotten what she wanted the first time.
Yeah, and without silver-eyed RWBY, meaning Cinder would have been a better physical conditions.
Also, remember to believe that he saved. Yeah, it seemed like he saved RWBY. Yeah, he literally.
Had it not been for Crow, RWBY would have been kidnapped by Tyrion and been turned into, that thing in Volume 8.
Yeah, he doesn't know that is the thing, but it was still better because they was literally gonna abduct his niece. Also, it's funny how he says meeting him was the worst thing of his life. He still do good, but even though the life he was gonna have with Raven, it was gonna literally be them murdering people and robbing them blind. LeBron was trying to essentially just a gang of criminals, essentially to rob and kill people blind. So.
Yeah, exactly.
And the fact that he was able to reform from that, from such a nasty place, it's no matter what, it's better than, even if he thinks Ozpin is distrustful, it doesn't change what would have had.
Yeah, he's like you said, he's saying meeting him was the worst thing in his life, but it's the only thing Ozpin did is just keep the fact that Salem was immortal.
He never even sent his followers to actually straight up fight Salem.
Yeah.
And it's not his fault that Salem is immortal. Again, if anything, he's done more good. Salem doesn't have an empire anymore.
I mean, the only thing she has is the Land of Darkness, but seemingly no one ever goes there.
Also, it seemed more ridiculous because apparently he's meant to be
a depressed.
He was literally the king of Vale who united humanity. So it's no matter what, it's Ozpin did do
lots of good.
He lied to them.
He lied to them.
He lied again.
He shot at him. He hates them.
And Ozpin decided to disappear after this. These effing clowns thought it was a good idea to turn on Ozpin and act like he had committed a great sin, when everything that has happened to him was out of his control and was done due to past experiences of other people in his life betraying him. What the actual frick is wrong with you people? So anyways, they make their way to wherever the heck they're going to. And as if we don't already have too many characters to worry about, they decided to create a brand new one and have her come along with Team Clowns. Need I remind you about the fact that so far Oscar does not have an actual character that makes him stand out among the others, aside from the fact that he's being haunted by Ozpin. And then we cut to Hazel and the others who make it to Salem's spooky castle. They tell Salem about what happened. Hazel wants to take full responsibility over what happened, but Salem doesn't accept it and does a bunch of spooky stuff. So she asks Emerald and she tells her that it was Cinder.
I want you to understand that failure. I want you to understand why Cinder must be left to toil in her isolation until she redeems herself.
Why would you do that? You do know that you still need Cinder in order to get the relic in Vale. What if Cinder dies somewhere and she gives her maiden powers to some Randy that you don't know? She could likely be hard to track down and probably decide to never use the maiden powers at all for the rest of her life. You'd have no way of finding her for another 100 years or so. You need Cinder. You can't leave her to do whatever the heck she wants if there's a likelihood that she can get herself killed. Especially with the fact that she has an unversed arm that can easily get damaged. I already discussed that issue in volume 5, and I made a whole separate video regarding the whole deal of Silver Eyes and the unversed arm. Salem's next target was supposed to be Vacua, but due to a change of plan later on, they don't end up going there. So Hazel tells Salem that the kids are being led by Ozpin, and that somehow surprises her so much that she gets really angry about it. I mean, I know Watts and Tyrion point out how it's soon, and that he's the only one who has a chance of getting through to Ironwood, but like, how is that even a surprise? Heck, how soon do you expect Ozpin to reincarnate into another person's body? It literally took him 6 to 8 months to even end up talking to Oscar in volume 4. I don't know, man, 6 to 8 months is a pretty long time. And also, Ironwood has been working for Ozpin for a long time. Did you not expect him to get help from the military men with a big army in the richest kingdom of Remnant? This is another issue. Salem had like no plan to prevent the other nations from interacting with each other and clearing things up, which would just compromise her plans. She acts like Ozpin is the only one who could do that, but I don't know if she even knows about what the relationship is like. As well as the fact that Ozpin isn't the only person who could talk him out of things. What's her plan if Glinda, who is running Beacon now, interacts with him and talks him out of what he's doing? What's her plan if the Atlas Council are able to talk him out of this? Or Theodore? So cutting back to the clown squad, they make their way to some farm in the middle of nowhere. But oh look, it looks abandoned. This is like what, the 4th time they made their way to an abandoned place? Similar to volume 4, and this is how the episode ends. Honestly, this whole thing could have been avoided if Weiss decided to use her wasp summon and have everyone fly on its back. Weiss was literally complaining that they had to walk, yet she didn't think to use her summon to make it to Argus. The wasp is as fast as an airship, yet they never even mention it. This was the entire episode. The characters get mad at Ozpin, the bad guys make their way back to Salem, and the last few minutes is Team RWBY ending up on a farm. This is once again one of those episodes where nothing very significant happened that we didn't really know about, and just shows how much the team just wastes their time accomplishing almost nothing with these episodes until like the very end. Imagine you were someone back when volume 6 was new and you had to wait every week for a new episode. This episode just gives you the most breadcrumbs of content until you have to wait for the next episode. And oh boy, the farm episodes. Despite people liking it because of the spooky vibes or whatever, these episodes are a huge waste of time that have nothing to do with the rest of the volumes in the grand scheme of things. People complain about the fact that Team Ranger have been staying in a house the entirety of volume 5, yet in volume 6 they end up doing the same thing, but it's only like 2 episodes. Now you're thinking to yourself, what's the big issue? It's only 2 episodes. I know, but those 2 episodes could have been spent on more important things than having a spooky side story that does nothing for the rest of the volume. I get that this is because they have to find shelter, but it's like the only reason this train crash happens is to get them into the situation to even have this moment. Honey, remember how we were saying that volume 4, that we complained that the characters are just walking to their destination?
Yeah.
Volume 6 is literally the characters going to their destination again.
Yeah, and this time they're f***ing around even more.
Yeah, this time they're f***ing around even more. The only significant thing that happens is that Maria teaches RWBY at the last minute how to use her silver eyes, which also reveals that Maria was a silver-eyed warrior. But this could have been achieved without the need of having 2 whole episodes of the characters just sitting around and doing nothing. Need I remind you that characters like Oscar still have not been given any significant characteristics that makes them important in the story, and Weiss also has done nothing so far, and they don't do anything at the farm either. No character work is being done with any of them really. Ever since she lost the whole Ares thing, she was given absolutely nothing to do. Oh, and let's not forget this one single moment between Blake and Yang where they talk about Adam, and then Blake tells Yang that she's gonna protect her and Yang is insulted by it. That's the only thing that ever happens between them, and they completely ignore it later on. But I also don't see how this couldn't have been achieved in Argus as well. If you want to create all these scenarios, then you have to make it significant for the whole volume, because otherwise you're just making it seem like it's just there to pad out the whole volume because they couldn't think of anything else to give these characters to do. Do the apathy ever show up again? No. Is the farm ever mentioned again? No. Maria learning about Ruby's silver eyes could have been achieved in any other way. Like, what about if Ruby talks about her mom with Maria? What if Maria was someone who knew Ruby's mom and they could have talked about her? You know, so that we can actually learn more about her than her just being a nothing person in the story. So episode 5 begins with Cinder asking Spider Lady if she has her information. But uh-oh, she knows who she is, and that is because this happened. Yep. She's back. The first time I saw this, I was like, oh my god, Neo is back. But then I realized, oh my god, Neo is back. And this is probably like one of the worst decisions they could have done. First of all, and the most obvious, is the fact that the show already has too many characters to worry about that they've barely given any time to actually develop. And second of all, Neo is a nothing character. The only reason she exists is because there was a female Roman Torchwick cosplayer and they decided to make this character for Volume 2. No, I'm not joking. Neo's whole thing in Volume 2 is that she's Torchwick's henchman and she can't speak at all. That's her entire thing. The only reason for her to exist in the story is because she's trying to get revenge on RWBY because she believes that she got her husband killed. That's it. She serves no actual purpose in the story aside from being another roadblock for the heroes. What was the point of bringing her back in the story at all? The only reason she is back is because she's a popular character. But I don't believe she was popular because people actually cared for her deep and complex character, because she never had one. The only reason people like her is because of her design and the fact she can't talk. That's the only thing that makes her unique. Out of all the characters you could have brought back, they decided to bring out the most pointless one. You cannot be serious. So she has a fight with Cinder, which I admit is kinda cool. But like I said, Neo is so pointless that this whole thing could have just been cut out entirely and nothing would have changed for this episode. Heck, even thinking about it, what is even the point of having all these episodes where Cinder is just walking around in this village? Like I said, Cinder should have just died, or they should have just had Salem trying to get her back, because she achieves absolutely nothing in this volume. Why didn't you tease Cinder's return in the after credits? Have Salem pick her up and bring her back to the land of darkness? Once again, this is just a team behind the show just wasting their time and filling up time just to pad out the whole episodes with nothing. So basically what happens is that she blames Cinder for Torchwick's death, but Cinder convinces her that it wasn't her and that she should put the blame on RWBY instead. If her intent was to kill Cinder, then why did she reveal herself to her instead of attempting to do a surprise attack? Like, I know they can sense people with aura, but she could have tried at least, especially since she has illusion powers. We wasted like what, 5 minutes of this 15-minute episode? Wow, what a great way to use up your time.
You've gotten stronger. So have I.
How would Neo's Paracel be able to block?
Because her thing is just so powerful, bro.
Oh, from a maiden magic blast.
Yeah, sure. So Team RWBY noticed that this whole place is a ghost town. No one is around. They enter some empty house and stay in there for the time being. More spooky stuff happens where Weiss finds dead bodies in the bedrooms and she got scared by it. Crow tells the others that it's the same in every house. Everyone is dead. Nothing of character stuff actually happens with the others. Weiss does nothing. Oscar does nothing. Maria does nothing. RWBY and Weiss look for food and that's about it. Like I mentioned previously, the one sort of relevant thing that happens is Yang and Blake go into this place and find a thing, but oh no, it's Adam. I mean, I don't think Adam is actually there and it's just Yang having a PTSD moment. Remember, she has PTSD and her hand is shaking, which like I said previously, does absolutely nothing to her character and her performance during battle.
Do you think Adam's still out there?
I don't know. If he went back to the White Fang, there would have been serious consequences, but he never really liked people telling him what to do.
Why is that even a question? Of course he's still out there. Blake saw that he escaped. Heck, they let him escape instead of getting Huntsman to go after him. This whole White Fang plot was just thrown down the drain entirely and the show never touches on it ever again. It's as if they completely abandoned it because the writers knew they were doing a bad job at it. Oh, wait.
I think, to be completely honest, we were like 22 when we started writing RWBY, and when you're young, you want to be like, let's make a show about good things and have good morals, and like, let's touch on this, this, and this, and we were like, I think it could be really interesting and really important to have a show with, you know, there's some segregation, and like, let's talk about racism and minorities and stuff, and I think we were a little too ambitious for like a 15-minute, at the time, 5-minute long show, especially with just like two white guys writing it.
So instead of trying to course correct your mistakes or realizing that the whole racism angle and the White Fang is a big part of the show, considering we spent 5 volumes on it, they decided to just get rid of the White Fang entirely and have a throwaway line saying that Gira is rebuilding the White Fang again under his leadership.
The White Fang may have been a failure, but with your father starting up a new movement, I've got more faith than ever before.
And yet we never see this whole subplot ever again. Blake didn't even want to stay behind and help her father despite the fact that her entire character revolved around fighting for equality. No, apparently stopping this one group of evil White Fang members and Adam running like a wimp solves their entire problem, and Blake just decided to join Team RWBY again and abandons her parents to deal with that problem by themselves. You cannot be serious. Anyways, Blake attempts to comfort Yang by telling her that she's not gonna leave her and that she's gotta protect her. And Yang is insulted by what she just said. Keep this one in mind because it will be relevant for later on. So a whole bunch of nothing happens where RWBY and Wise are looking for food. And they have this out of place joke or whatever. But uh-oh, something is down there. Oh, the episode is over. Once again, nothing was accomplished in this episode aside from that one thing. Do you see my issue with these 2 episodes? A whole bunch of nothing happens with things that could have been achieved in Argus. They sure know how to use up their time. So anyways, Crow tells RWBY to get some sleep and he's gonna wake them up before sunrise. But he got drunk and overslept. Maria got some books that are the diaries of the farmers who live here. But something seems weird. Everyone looks extremely tired and losing their spirit. They even start questioning why they're even going to Atlas.
How long would it take Salem to find a lamp in the middle of nowhere?
But the Grimm might...
They'd find it eventually, sure. But bury it or just throw it down the well, it would take years. It might not even happen in our lifetime.
It's funny you mentioned the lamp because remember that the whole thing with this lamp is that it attracts unversed. Yet so far they haven't been attracting any unversed. Especially since they're acting all way more negative currently. Like, I know there are unversed in the well, but even outside of that there should be an army of unversed on their doorstep. Especially since they're carrying the one thing that attracts more unversed. Yang suggests that RWBY should just throw it down the well. RWBY nearly does, but she regains her spirit and stops herself. But then she sees some spooky eyes down the well. The elders tell her to let it go, but RWBY insists on getting it back.
I'll go down with you. We'll go down together.
What? Why? Why do all 4 of you need to go down there? RWBY has super speed and she can fly. How far could the relic have gone? All RWBY needs to do is use her super speed and check the area for the relic. Why do all of you need to be down there? Oh no, there is danger. Okay, RWBY, time to use her super speed and get out of there. RWBY, use super speed. RWBY, use super speed. RWBY, use super speed. RWBY, use super speed. What the heck are you doing? Grab your friends and exit from the well. No, stop wasting your time and fly out of the well with your friends. Even if RWBY doesn't know yet that she can take all of her friends at once, at least have them run back to the well and use your super speed to pick them up one by one and fly out from the well. Now even Maria put herself in danger because RWBY and the others are too stupid to realize that RWBY can use their super speed to fly out of there. But oh no, the hole from where they came from is surrounded by even more apathy. But like, I'm questioning something. Could Team RWBY really not have taken them down? I mean, look how skinny they are and RWBY has super speed. Like, I know they do this yell to weaken them, but they have recovery time in between, so they can't just spam it at their prey. And also, let's not forget that Wise has time dilation and can give it to other people as well. Why didn't she attempt to give it to RWBY so that she can use her super speed to slice all of them and make her even faster to fly her friends out of the hole? Yet no one decided to make such an attempt.
And then there would be no conflict and no drama.
How long is this video gonna be? Freaking 3 hours? So they happen to make it back to the house, but the door is shut. Oh no, it's not like you guys can boost your strength with aura or anything to break open that lock. Or once again, Wise has time dilation and she can use it.
I'm not good at a lot of memory related things. It's really, really bad.
If Blake would have died right here, I would have been Extremely happy. So Maria asks Ruby what her eye colors are, and she tells her how to use her silver eyes. And Ruby uses them so that she can blast the apathy so that they can all escape. So they make their way inside and see Crow is just lying there. We have a drunk Crow right here, and yet Yang decides to grab Blake's hand, which is just weird considering that not only did she feel insulted by what she said last time, but she just completely ignores her uncle, Ruby and Weiss, because apparently bringing Blake herself out is way more important than a drunk Uncle Crow, I guess. They all leave the place and Maria reads from the diary that they're called apathy.
I should have known. The signs were all there, but I'd never seen an entire settlement withered away like that. I suppose my mind just isn't what it used to be.
Wait, so you know what the apathy are? So, hold on a second. Shouldn't Crow also know what the apathy are? Heck, shouldn't any of them know what the apathy are? Or has Beacon been teaching them nothing at all on the different unversed type that exist out there? Heck, apathy seem incredibly dangerous. So how could none of them tell that it would be the apathy doing it, given all the signs? Crow is supposed to be a skilled huntsman, yet he himself couldn't tell that it might have been the work of the apathy? You cannot be serious. Heck, not even Ozpin, who has been with them this whole time, as they established at the end of the volume, didn't bother warning them about the apathy?
Wow, what an asshole.
So Ruby asks Maria how she knows so much about the unversed and that her eyes can do that, and she reveals that she had silver eyes. So now that the 2 farm episodes are over, I'm gonna ask you once again, what did them being at the farm actually accomplish for the rest of the volume that couldn't have been achieved in Argus? Adam is in the house.
Imagine if Adam went down to the...
Where is Blake? What the f is that? Oh my god! Oh my god! He just dies right there. So episode 7 begins once again with Cinder and Neo, because we don't have enough of those 2 clowns. Cinder is like, I can't kill Ruby because Salem told me that I can't, but you can kill Ruby. And that's the whole conversation. Truly riveting stuff. So now we get a backstory on Maria. Maria used to be a legendary huntress known as the Grim Reaper. During one of her adventures, she was fighting a big birdie unversed. This is also where we get introduced to gravity dust. You are able to pull your weapons back towards yourself so that you can pick it up again. Why would you introduce something like that this late into the show? If anything, this just makes me question, like, why doesn't everyone utilize gravity dust in their weapon if you are able to pull it towards yourself? What if there's a situation where you lose your weapon? You could have used gravity dust to pull it back to you. But no, for some reason so far in this universe, no one decided to utilize such an ability. You cannot be serious. So she gets ambushed by a bunch of Randys and we get introduced to Killer Croc over here. So once again, I have to criticize the fact that these people are supposed to have aura, and normally that it can take a while for it to break, yet she somehow was able to beat all of them with 1 hit, because apparently they all just didn't decide to turn on their aura before fighting her. Are they stupid? And what makes this even dumber is that she gets hit like 3 times and already she broke her aura. Are you actually kidding me? Are we forgetting what the characters were capable of in the first 2 volumes?
I'm not good at a lot of memory related things. It's really, really bad.
Oh yeah, this truly shows how much of a legend the Grim Reaper is. She's so legendarily weak and stupid. So Killer Croc's semblance is that she has 60 seconds of immunity, and instead of Maria trying to play keep away until her semblance runs out, she instead decided to fight her head on. Why are you doing this? Are you stupid? Especially since your aura is broken? This is what ends up in Killer Croc breaking her mask and slashing her eyes. And with a last ditch effort, she was able to recall her weapon so that she stabs her in the back and she cuts her head off. Am I supposed to believe that her using up those 60 seconds drained all her aura? If so, then why did she decide to use it immediately upon fighting the Grim Reaper? If she's supposed to be such a powerful foe, wouldn't you want to save up your aura to test her abilities first? What if this fight actually takes longer than 60 seconds if Maria decided to play keep away? You would leave yourself completely vulnerable and she could have one-shotted you. I mean, you would likely say that she could have been arrogant and and was being overconfident. But she must have had previous experience of using her ability, did she not? There's no way she never fought someone who was trying to play keep away until her semblance ran out and she left herself completely vulnerable. So this is just idiotic. What about the other ones who were fighting with her? What were their abilities? If they were fighting the Grimm Reaper, then why didn't they activate their aura and use their semblances? Or is she just the only one who has those things? Then why were they even sent to kill the Grimm Reaper? If you have powerful people like her on your side, then why didn't you hire strong people like her? Is her boss stupid? Also, this is her backstory? The first time we see this legendary Grimm Reaper and she gets hurt like an idiot? You cannot be serious. What are we even supposed to do with this info now? Like, what a waste of such a cool concept and such an amazing character design. Like, just look at her, she looks amazing. Honestly, I would argue that Maria should have been young in the present day and she should have been joining the team as the awesome Grimm Reaper. Like, that's such a missed potential. Not only could they actually have a useful huntress on their team, but also it would have been perfect to have her become Ruby's mentor / mother figure instead of this weak, boring, pathetic old lady that does absolutely nothing important in the show aside from just explaining Ruby how the silver eyes work, and that's about it. I will not forgive the writers of the show for wasting such an amazing concept. I hope they eat a sock. Jean is calling Ruby and they all made it to the city. So basically we have wasted like half of the volume accomplishing absolutely nothing of relevance, with none of the characters being developed at all, and earth-shattering world building that makes the show even worse than it already was. You cannot be serious. Look, we finally made it. We wasted 7 episodes of nothing. The clown squad finally made it to Argus to meet up with the rest of the clowns. Isn't it amazing how they removed like 3 characters from their cast, and yet they still couldn't think of giving these characters anything to do for half a volume? Need I remind you once again that we are like halfway through the show, and Ren and Nora have been given absolutely nothing to do for 6 whole volumes. The only thing they gave us is a backstory that doesn't give us anything new that we didn't know about them already. 6 whole volumes, and none of the characters have been properly developed. Even on a basic level that would help strengthen their friendship or something. The only reason they're friends is because they just happened to all meet up during their initiation, and from then on they have been hanging out despite the fact that they rarely even interact with each other individually, or just not at all. You thought you should remove Sun and Neptune despite the fact they have been helping them in the past, and Sun is a closer friend to Blake than all of the other characters in the group. The one guy who could have been joining up with them because they have history together beyond just being there because the script says so. And what a surprise, Ren and Nora are still being given absolutely nothing to do for the rest of the volume, but we'll get to that. Despite the fact that they keep showing off some of the streets of Argus and the characters bragging about how big it is, we don't see anything of Argus beyond that. If anything, it's no different to when the characters were walking around in Beacon, aside from the fact that it looks different. Well, at least the place is actually a 3D environment and not 2D artwork. We get introduced to one of Jean's sisters who they have been staying with for the time being, who has like such a stupid design in the context of the fact that they're in a cold place, yet she walks around with her arms exposed and normal jacket. You know, actually that kinda goes for everyone, considering they were able to get new clothes when traveling to Mistral, but weren't able to get proper gear when traveling to a cold place, especially since they were recovering for 2 weeks and had all the time to buy proper wear. We also get introduced to her wife, but she's not relevant to the story.
Only 2
Oh my god, it's the Loud House.
living away from home.
We're
Help.
in the loud house.
Shut up. Help. Exactly, that's how I feel, bro.
We're in the Ark house. We're in the Ark house.
You all risk so much to keep people like us safe. It's the least we can do, especially for such an elite huntsman like yourself. Although I will say I was surprised to learn you had students helping you. Is that even legal?
Oh my god. They're literally acknowledging the fact that Crow has been bringing a bunch of students with him.
Tara's a technician for the town's relay tower. Unfortunately, the military's radar system is also housed there.
You are seriously telling me that they were able to build a communication tower in Argus? The fact they were capable of making a mini CCT tower for Argus is just a massive middle finger for the fact that they could have just fixed the tower in Vale the whole time instead of wasting their resources on the Amity tower in Volume 7. Do I need to remind you how much of a big deal they make them not having any communication around the world? People keep telling me that the reason they haven't been able to fix the tower is because Vale is in chaos right now, because the dragon that is still on top of the tower is attracting more unversed. But Jesus Christ, are we seriously meant to believe that they aren't able to remove that dragon for like over 9 months by now? How hard is it for elite huntsmen and the military group of Atlas to remove this one dragon and fix up the tower again so that they have communication again around the world? Are the humans in Remnant this freaking incompetent despite all of the technology and skills that they have? Atlas should have been able to fix the communication towers by now.
Now we're in another house. Yeah,
in another
it's not
house.
a dead. Yeah, it's not a dead house, but
that baby's head. Oh my god.
And then we'll get to Volume 8. You remember Volume 8 where they stay in the Schnee Manor?
I hate Volume 8. Volume 8 is the Last Jedi nightmare fuel of freaking RWBY.
No, it's the Rise of Skywalker.
No, Rise of
RWBY.
Skywalker is the funeral, and that's Volume 9.
Oh, yeah, Volume 9. Volume 9 is Rise of Skywalker.
Volume 9 is
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker. So RWBY says that they were trying to make their way to Atlas and that they were trying with the military base. But Sean tells her that they've tried that already and they won't allow them to go through with it. Not even Crow trying to convince them he's a friend of Ironwood works. He does mention that they have Weiss with them and that they'd like to bring her back to Atlas.
Hey, if you don't want to believe that I'm friends with Ironwood...
General Ironwood!
Yeah, General Ironwood. Then fine. But look, we have Weiss Schnee with us, and we're trying to get her home safely.
This is also where we get introduced to the leader of the Argus military base called Cordovan. We also learn that her and Maria have some beef with each other. So basically she doesn't want to let them through due to the borders in Atlas, and apparently people still believe that Atlas are the ones who attacked Beacon, which once again wouldn't be plausible if characters like Glinda would have tried to explain to people what actually happened at the school, and they would have given that message to the rest of the world. Also with the fact that they would now understand that Cinder was the one behind it, because they even have wanted posters around. And it has been a whole month now. Or has it been 2 weeks? I don't even know anymore. Despite not letting the others take an airship to Atlas, Cordovan does make a suggestion that if Weiss wants to go back to Atlas, then they'd happily escort her home.
If Miss Schnee has truly come to her senses and wishes to return to her family, then of course, the Atlas military will escort her home.
Yes, do that.
But the kingdom
Just
will
do
not
this.
be responsible for her friends of questionable character.
What the f?
Oh my gosh, she knows she's a White Fang member.
No, she said it because she's a faunus. Even
No,
despite,
because she's a
despite the fact they have faunus in their team.
Oh
What's
yeah,
that?
they literally have this outfit.
He's literally a freaking Team Cringe member. While it doesn't let everyone go to Atlas, at the very least they're allowing Weiss herself to go there. That doesn't seem like a bad thing at all.
I don't...
Weiss, I told you we wouldn't leave your side for a second. We'll find a way to Atlas. Together.
Wait, what? No, hold on. What are you doing? If there is no other way for you guys to go to Atlas altogether, then why did you just let them escort Weiss? If necessary, you could bring Crow along in his bird form and have him act as her pet to escort her to Atlas. If nothing else works, then this is the best shot you have. I know Cordovan can be a bit harsh, but she's right. They can't just let anyone pass due to the fact that 2 kingdoms have been attacked at this point, and the people blame them for the attack. So the team tell them about what Ospen did, and they still want to villainize him. Yeah, Jean, just punch the wall of your sister's house. That totally wouldn't make her mad.
Everything we did was for nothing!
That's not true.
Really? Because it sure does sound like it.
If Salem can't be killed, then how are we supposed to win this?
Are you guys stupid or what? If there is no way to kill the enemy, then the solution would be to capture the enemy instead. Why is everyone acting like this is some impossible task? Like, I get it, they don't have an idea how to capture her now, but it's so weird that no one even suggests the idea in the first place, which would be an obvious thing to bring up. Now, all of a sudden, Sean decided to be a huge jerk to Oscar for like, no apparent reason.
Did you already know about this?
He didn't know any of it.
How much longer can we even trust him?
John!
How do we even know it's really him? What if we've been talking to that liar this whole time?
John!
Once again, everything that has happened was out of Ospen's control, and Jean decided to lash out on an innocent farm boy who hasn't even done anything at all. Why would you even think that you have been talking to Ospen this whole time when he clearly talks in a different way when interacting with you guys? How did Team RWBY even go about explaining the whole situation? Did they even mention his kids that died? Or the fact that her being immortal has nothing to do with his actions? Oh, but that's right.
You have no empathy.
Because we need to artificially add drama in our scenes. This is how we write our stories, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, like, he says, like, are we sure we are the good guys? Like, you question that just because she can't kill Salem? Like, that causes you to think, we're not the good guys.
Like,
what is awesome? Like, I don't understand. Like, hold on. What did
we can't murder our opponents, so we can't be the
Yeah,
good
hold on.
guys.
What did Team RWBY say to him exactly that makes him think he's a bad guy? All Ospen really did was just not tell them that she's invincible. And somehow
Not invincible,
Ospen...
just immortal.
Yeah, immortal, invincible, whatever.
Yeah, like, look at what they're all doing. Like, they're all doing exactly what... Like, they're, once again, proving Ospen right.
What if we have been talking to the Slayer the whole time? Cuts to volume 7.
Like, take a screenshot of this. Like, I think this is a pretty good showcase of Johnson's true nature. Him angrily and animalistically threatening an innocent child.
Oh, yeah, this is kind of a question, but, like, did they just really tell everything from the, like, the backstory or not? Because, like, I do not believe that they would just suddenly mention they would, like, Ozma's kids was, like, slaughtered or whatnot. But
he's
like,
evil. Your kids are dead. I don't care.
Because, like, if they really did mention that, and like John is still acting out this way, this just makes him just a straight up villain. A prick. He should have been asshole.
Maybe Ospen wasn't the real villain. It was Jean the whole time.
What's the worst alternative? Team RWBY being character assassinate, or John being character assassinated?
Why do we have to choose? It's literally both.
Like, likely scenario is both.
Or maybe Jean is just a dumbass. So they all angrily leave, and Blake suggests that they all get some space. So RWBY goes outside and is unable to call Crow, and Maria just happens to be there.
What do I tell Jean and his team when we don't even have a plan? Crow's out drinking, Osmond hasn't come back, and even if he did, I don't know if I could trust him. And there's always Jin, but we only have one more question we can ask her.
You say that, but you should know the last question to ask Jin should be, how do I capture Salem? So anyways, Maria wants to teach RWBY how she's able to use those silver eyes. And the most she gets is the fact that it will activate if RWBY has the strong desire of protecting life. Focus on the relationship the wielder has, which is consistent with the way it has worked in the past volumes. This is the only thing that RWBY is ever being taught on how the eyes work. It seems like nothing else needs to be done. You are literally telling me that the only reason Maria exists is so that she can give RWBY the most basic lesson ever on how to operate her eyes? She does nothing else to further teach RWBY on how to use her silver eyes. And she mentions that her father knew how to use them, but even he didn't have all the answers. So obviously there should be more to those silver eyes that we need to learn about. From how she talks about her dad, it seems like he was able to figure it out himself on how to use the silver eyes. Maria's father was able to get a good idea on what silver eyes do by researching on them, but Ospen couldn't do the same with the many years he knew and worked with Summer? You cannot be serious. Heck, for Christ's sake, Ospen should have been the one to teach her how to use the silver eyes if that's all it takes. I thought the whole reason you took her into your academy was because of her silver eyes. Heck, Crow should also know how to use them, considering he was on the same team with Summer and was also working for Ospen. You can't honestly tell me that Ospen never bothered to do any research on those silver eyes for all of those years he's been alive. Seriously, why is Maria even here? What if RWBY ignited a spark in Maria she hasn't felt in years that makes her feel regretful about her decision of isolating herself for years, missing out on other things in life she could have experienced, and it feels like she wasn't too isolated. Something that was always kinda there even prior to her losing her eyes, and can lead to RWBY talking about her mom, how it's never too late to turn your life around, which can lead to RWBY confiding in Maria about something she's struggles with that she got from her mom, which leads to Maria piecing together that she has silver eyes later on, or something to show more of a relationship between the two than the nothing that exists in the show. Like, Maria and Ruby had no relationship prior to them discovering they are both silver-eyed warriors, and don't get anything of substance regarding their relationship that's truly special to them. Like, when talking to each other about those silver eyes, they don't talk to each other as people, but more so exposition regarding the silver eyes with no character work being done at all. We also get told what Maria's semblance is, and it's like one of the laziest and dumbest things ever in regard to her story and the RWBY universe.
What is your semblance?
Reflexes. A silly name I came up with. Hard to explain, but I can sense everything better than most and react to attacks almost before they happen.
She has the ability to almost react to things faster than other people. Like, really? Reflexes? Are you forgetting that these characters move like super fast like all the time? Even characters like Mercury were able to counter-attack Ruby's semblance. Even normal people like Roman Torchwick, who isn't a huntsman, was able to counter all of Sun's nunchuck attacks and was able to relocate a shot from his gun towards Ruby. It's not like Killer Croc over here moves in any way different to how others do in the show. So if anything, she should have been able to easily dodge or counter her attacks instead of getting her aura broken so easily. If she is able to counter her attacks the same way as she does without her semblance, then what is the point of her reflex semblance? If she's supposed to be so super skilled, then she shouldn't have been able to break her aura so easily. You cannot be serious. Yes, I know she emphasizes on the almost part, but come on. At this point, her dodging the attacks of other enemies is like no different than other characters doing it. Especially when after she broke her aura, she was still able to counter a lot of her attacks. The way I see it is that the writers had no idea on what kind of semblance they should give her and just said, well, she's gonna get good reflexes, I guess. Okay, so this is some late editing, but I've just discovered that the name of her semblance is called preflexes and not reflexes. I thought she said reflexes because it's like kind of hard to hear the P word, so I thought it was called reflexes, but no, it's called preflexes. I know this is a minor thing, but it's funny how Maria was able to hit Ruby on the head in this shot with her cane, being like right next to Ruby, but in the next shot it's further back. So how was she able to hit her in this shot? Maria even concludes that the silver eyes came from the god of light because in Salem's backstory he used this light to destroy the unversed. So okay, the show tells us that it came from the god of light, but that still doesn't explain to us why or how the god of light decided to only give it to like a few individuals, or where it even originated from. Not like it's that important to the overall story really, but it's funny to think about considering this is just a random ability that seems to be coming out of nowhere, despite the fact that they didn't seem to be around during the first round of humanity, yet suddenly exist now. And we've only seen Ozma being given a mission by the god, and he never even mentions them being there to aid on his journey or something. So why is it that only a few individuals have the ability to use those silver eyes? Never explained.
His eyes.
Show the lights that stop me.
Okay.
To stop.
Where do we start?
You shine when I belong.
The light will only work in the presence of Grimm, meaning the only practice you'll get will be a trial by fire.
But that can't be right. You said the light only reacts to Grimm, but I used it during our battle at Haven. It reacted to Cinder.
Interesting. Perhaps there was something that you just weren't seeing?
So the show still doesn't want to address Salem's line from Volume 4, despite the fact that it made it seem like such a major thing.
It is because of the Maiden's power. Make no mistake, Cinder. You hold the key to our victory. But your newfound strength brings with it a crippling weakness.
But I have already addressed all of that in a separate video, so make sure to like and subscribe. Anyways, there's conflict.
What's going on?
It's Oscar. He's missing.
Oh no, Oscar is missing. Wait, who is Oscar again? I don't know. I mean, oh no, Oscar is missing. So anyways, we now have a scene of Emerald and Mercury just chilling out in Salem's spooky castle. I don't really have much of a problem with this scene. They did a fine enough job with Mercury here, having him be a guy who after killing his father had nowhere else to go, so after Cinder found him, it just made sense for him to join their team.
If General Ironwood comes to his senses and calls upon aid from Vacuo, all may be lost for us.
What aid is Vacchio supposed to provide to Atlas that makes them unable to defend themselves? The way Vacchio is portrayed later on is a poor, barely functioning desert kingdom that doesn't have many resources like the others, and it's extremely dangerous. So we cut to Team Juniper looking for Oscar, but they're unsuccessful.
You could stay in Mistral, get your licenses at Haven, and come back to Argus. There's a lot of good you can do here.
Wait, so they don't know that Haven got attacked? You would think that they would have spread the message around everywhere in Mistral, especially in like big cities like Argus, but apparently not, I guess. So Nora and Ren are going to get some food while Jean is staying behind, and then we get like one of the dumbest scenes ever. So he notices a leaf which led him straight to a statue of Pyrrha. Hey guys, remember Pyrrha? Remember her? Yeah, she's dead. Aren't you sad about this barely developed nothing character dying like an idiot? So then this mysterious woman shows up who has red hair and green eyes. Man, I wonder who that could be.
Oh my gosh, here she comes.
Oh my god, I wonder who this is. She
Wait,
has
so-
red hair and green eyes. I wonder who this is supposed to be. Her
Who the heck is Jean Arc?
Who the heck is Jean Arc? I'm sorry, man, but we couldn't find her body.
Why here?
You know, I tried
Well-
to like get the last of her things from her school, and there was like this whole like but then I talked like to like this huntsman like Cronut, and she said like and he said like how the last of his belongings went to like this guy named Jean, which
Look.
really disappoints me. And like
Look, Sean.
if I were to find that guy, I think I might break his kneecaps.
Look, Jean said he had an Xbox wife and he had to like get her belongings. Seriously, the show tries so hard to keep this character a mystery, with even the writers not wanting to tell us who this is. But it's so obvious that it's Pyrrha's mom, and all she talks about is how much of a great person Pyrrha was, and that she had such amazing friends. You know, it's all stuff that we already know about Pyrrha. Honestly, if I was a Pyrrha fan, I would find this kinda insulting to her character, cause you learn nothing new about her, and her death did absolutely nothing to the story, and then you put in some Randy and they're like, oh, I wonder who that red-haired lady is. The team behind the show really thought they were cooking when they made this scene, when all it is just emotional manipulation. Why didn't they remove all this mystery bull and actually have her talk to Jean, tell us more about Pyrrha? If anything, it just comes across as if you never really cared about Pyrrha's character, despite constantly making it seem like she was so important.
She understood that she had a responsibility to try. I don't think she would regret her choice, because a huntress would understand that there really wasn't a choice to make.
There really was though. Pyrrha didn't need to go and fight off Cinder when she should obviously understand that there is no way she can win this fight when she was able to defeat Ozpin. She should have escaped with Jean.
Everyone was crushed when she chose Beacon over Haven. I'm just glad she was surrounded by such amazing people.
Do you get it, guys? That's her mom, and she's sad that her daughter is dead. And she said she was surrounded by amazing people, and she looked at Sean, and Sean looked at her. So it's like, oh my god, is that her mom?
She should be standing here.
She is.
She's dead. Do you guys remember what?
She should be standing
Like,
in her own
like what is
statue.
this? Like, we don't learn anything new about Pyrrha or anything. It's just, hey guys, remember Pyrrha? That's her mom. She's dead, guys. Aren't you guys sad over her death? Oh look, I wonder what that screenshot is.
Oh my god, is there really nothing left of her?
Well, we found her sword and shield, but we gave it to Jean Arc.
Who the heck is Jean Arc? I low-key wish I just did that bit.
She was going up against the person she had no chance of winning in the first place. She's a idiot.
I mean, yeah, but to be fair, her mom doesn't know that.
I don't care. But the show pretends as if she. But Ruby even says the same. You like that scene from Daredevil? I don't care. I don't care, Pyrrha. Stop acting like these things just happened to you. But then Ren and Nora show up, and then she just disappears for no reason? Like, what the heck? Why did she leave? Wouldn't she be happy to meet Pyrrha's friends? Why don't Ren and Nora get to interact with her and talk about how much of a great friend Pyrrha was to them? Is it because they never really interacted in the show? Like, wow, this whole thing was just there for Jean, because we don't have enough moments of him being sad that his wife died. You cannot be serious. We learn nothing new, which just makes the scene a complete waste of time. Team RWBY don't even get to have a moment for just themselves. Honestly, I would have just cut this whole thing out and actually have Blake and Yang interact instead. Like, seriously, they set up this whole thing of Yang feeling insulted by what Blake said, and we never even get a scene of those two reconciling in Argus. It would have been the perfect opportunity for them to iron out their issues and make up in the end. Actually have Blake apologizing to Yang. Just develop these characters in a meaningful way for once. Is it really that difficult? And then we get a final shot of an airship flying above Pyrrha's statue, which will be important for later on. This is the only extent we're ever gonna get of the characters looking for Oscar, by the way. It's as if they decided to remove him for one episode because they thought otherwise he'd just be in the way or something. Like, they sure make Oscar disappearing seem like such a big deal at the end of episode 8, just to be like, psych, he was fine this whole time and just went out to buy new clothes. Basically, Oscar has been given nothing to do so far. This is a brand new character you created to join the cast, and 3 volumes in you have given him nothing to do. Oh, and who could forget about Wise also being given nothing to do anymore aside from just being part of the team? You cannot be serious. At least Jean has the decency to actually apologize to Oscar, unlike certain other people to their friends.
This team isn't the same without you, Oscar.
You say that.
Even when they explicitly made it clear that Oscar was missing, I missed that he was even missing.
Yeah, and we literally forgot. I forgot the fact that he was missing, and because we were focusing on Pyrrha's statue. So while they're celebrating, Crow is still upset about the fact that they have no way of getting to Atlas. So get this, Jean comes up with the most 1/10 gigabrain idea ever.
With Cordo on watch, only Atlas airships have the clearance to leave for Solitas. So we steal an Atlas airship.
What? Your big brain idea is to commit a federal crime? What the f is wrong with you? And what makes this even more cringe is the fact that this plan came to him because they were implying like Pyrrha gave him the idea? What the heck? We literally, trauma. I can't believe we waste all this. Oh my god, the plane hits the statue. Thank you, Pyrrha. All you did was
show. Now we have the inspiration for John becoming a terrorist thief.
This is foreshadowing for the terrorists.
Oh, so that's where he got the plan. He looked at the airplane and was like, thank you, Pyrrha. Now we can go steal an airship.
Pyrrha encouraged him to become a criminal.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Are they seriously No, hold on. Are they seriously implying the airship above Pyrrha's head gave him the idea?
Yes, that was the intent.
Yep.
They even said that in the director's commentary.
They even said that in the commentary? Oh my god, Pyrrha literally... I was joking when I said that! I was joking! You can't be serious! These guys are such morons!
But I was...
Okay, stop. Just stop. Look, if this thing goes south, it's not something we can just fight our way out of. This is the Atlas military we're talking about. For your sake, just drop this.
Crow here makes a really good point. However, because RWBY is mad at him for being drunk all the time, we get another one of those amazing RWBY speeches that are really stupid.
Just because you don't have an idea doesn't mean we're out of options. Oz hasn't been here to tell us what to do, but we still managed to get this far anyway. We've been in bad situations before, and we didn't need an adult to come save us or tell us what to do. We just did it our way. And I say we do it our way. And if you think you can keep up with us kids, We'd be happy to have you.
RWBY, what the heck are you talking about? You're acting as if adults have never been here to help you guys when this is complete bull. First of all, you guys have almost never achieved anything without the help of other people. Let's go over the things Team RWBY have done throughout the volumes. So, one of the things that immediately come to mind is fighting off the mech Torchwick was in. Yeah, you could say that they have stopped him by destroying the mech, but at the same time you put innocent people in danger by luring him into a highway, which sure, the story never even punishes Team RWBY for, and they never even acknowledge, but it was still a bad call for them to do. Next up is the whole thing with the train. This was under the orders of an adult, but they still weren't able to stop the train at all, which caused an unversed invasion, which you guys didn't even solve because Team Coffee showed up to fix the problem. I know it's not technically adult huntsmen who came to rescue them, but it's still not something Team RWBY achieved. Volume 3 is irrelevant. So then we get to Volume 4, which if Crow didn't show up to save you guys by fighting Tyrion, then all your friends would have died. You would have been kidnapped and be brought to Salem. So an adult was literally involved and saved you guys. Next up is the fight with the horse unversed. Yeah, I mean, they did defeat the thing all on their own, so I guess that's a plus. Weiss and Yang were able to get out of bad situations as well, so I guess that's another plus. But then we get to Volume 5's finale, and the only reason they were able to get out of there alive is because Raven beat Cinder. If she wasn't there to save them, then they would have died. So this is another adult who helped them. In this volume, I guess they saved the people on the train from the Unversed, but I don't know how much of a plus this is, considering they were against the use of the turrets, which just made their job way harder. They would have eliminated the Unversed way faster with them, plus they didn't have to separate the train carts like how they did, which made them get into an even worse situation. So that's half a point, I guess. And the other time they've been saved by an adult is Maria telling you how to use your silver eyes so that you were able to defeat the apathy. So that's another adult helping you. While RWBY does have a point that they were in bad situations before and didn't need an adult to save them, most of them were screw-ups you caused anyways. Like, fighting the horse wouldn't have happened if you all didn't decide to walk to Mistral in the first place, and I already went over the whole train thing. The only one that I think is valid is Weiss and Yang saving themselves from the Bronwyn tribe, so it's not really a high bar for them. And you know, at least these moments were things they had to think about on the fly, and not caused by them coming up with planning to committing a crime beforehand. And I remind you that you were given the option to let them escort Weiss to Atlas. The argument I have seen people made is that her dad would be an obstacle, but that relies on the assumption that he would be notified of her return before Winter and Ironwood hear about it. And nothing Jacques has tells me he has the means or manpower to contain Weiss, even if he was the first one to greet her in Atlas. If she's reckless enough in the canon to go along with an airship heist, why wouldn't she be reckless enough to plow through Jacques' resources to get to Winter? Need I remind you that she was able to escape him before? She disobeyed him twice already. Like, you're underestimating Weiss. The whole father thing is also stupid, cause they ask about the airship arriving before anything else. And Weiss can say to the pilots that she has something to speak with her sister before anything else. Let's also not forget that in Volume 5, Weiss specifically wanted to meet up with her sister in Mistral, and that was a good enough explanation to convince her pilot to illegally bring her there. She could just pull the same thing she did beforehand, and if she says she has important information to give Winter and Ironwood, which no matter what, the Atlas military would prioritize that over Jacques' own interests at the moment. Remember, Jacques' whole conflict with Ironwood is that his military are bleeding him money dry in spite of his constant complaints. Cordovan also wants Weiss to follow her sister's footsteps. She would listen to what Weiss has to say to Winter, especially if it regards Atlas safety. But no, screw that I guess. Instead, we're gonna go along with this plan of stealing an airship from the military because we don't have any faith in Weiss to be capable enough to make it safely to Atlas, and have her speak to Ironwood that she should tell Cordovan to let the orders through as well. Look guys, this is extremely dangerous and we can get in trouble with the Atlas military. No, F you Crow, get that logic out of my face and let us commit a crime in peace. So yeah, the final 4 episodes is them executing the stupid plan.
So much of this conflict could just be resolved if Weiss just went back to Atlas and then told Winter and Ironwood to tell Cordovan to allow the rest to pass through. Like,
probably bring the relic with you as well. Keeping
or
it
maybe not.
Maybe
or
not.
Like maybe not because it attracts Grimm.
Yeah, but
no,
they don't know.
She would have been escorted by Atlas personnel, so it would have been literally extra security for her. So she.
Yeah, plus she can literally use it to like bring evidence to Ironwood that it's important business.
Yeah.
So Weiss makes herself on her way to one of the airships while carrying luggage, and get this, the person who is in the back is Maria. How the heck were they able to do that exactly? Was their plan seriously relying on the military being so stupid that they wouldn't even bother scanning her bag to see if she carries anything suspicious and looking inside? Isn't it also incredibly suspicious that only Jean's sister was allowed in the base to say her goodbyes? Like what? Were we supposed to believe that her friends were just outside saying their goodbyes and they only allowed Jean's sister inside with her baby? What was the plan if they didn't allow her in exactly? Look, I have no issues with plans sometimes relying on risks, but this whole thing relies on them assuming that the military is gonna be stupid enough to do these exact things, which just happens to work in their favor. The only reason they're here is so that her baby starts crying in order to distract the guards so that Weiss can move her back inside the airship? Literally, what was their plan if they didn't bother going up to the baby to try and calm him down? Or what was their plan if only one of the guards decided to get distracted? Or what if they didn't bother and told her to leave immediately? What is the issue of them carrying the bag inside the airship in the first place? It's not like her bag being heavy is so suspicious that it would allow them to become suspicious about it. How heavy is Maria anyways? Also, these people have aura that can boost their strength. This is why they were here? What was the point of that? Just for the funnies? Cause I'm not laughing.
Before we continue, I was gonna say that for a story that is about the end of the world, about stopping the end of the world, we sure don't know a whole lot about, the world, which is not exactly great for a series where the world is at stakes.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, the only.
Okay, let's go over volume 4 to 6. So volume 4 had 3 abandoned villages, 1 small village that is just whatever. We have Mistral, we have Argus. That's it. That's it. We don't even explore. We don't even explore Argus. What's the point of these places?
In the first 3 volumes, we were in Vale and Beacon Academy, and how much do we know about those places?
From so much that you give Avatar, I'm pretty sure even Avatar explores the places they go to, and we learn about even if the people there are psychopaths.
I remember the Kyoshi warriors way more.
Yeah, even if the people who live there are psychos, at least these places were explored and we get to learn stuff about them. At the very least. But in RWBY, excuse me, what can you tell me about Argus exactly? Exactly.
It's a city.
Exactly.
By
So Yang is escorting Blake to the communications tower so that she can turn it off for a few minutes.
You sure I shouldn't come with? More intruders means we're more likely to be seen. Besides, stealth isn't exactly your, I mean, you're great, and I'll hurry back. Go.
Okay, what was that? So now Yang is insulted by the fact that stealth isn't her strong suit, when we have never seen Yang perform any stealth at all ever in the show. So what reason does she have to feel offended by what Blake just said? I mean, technically Blake sucks at stealth as well, considering she barely even bothered to disguise herself properly when infiltrating a White Fang meeting. And another thing that people seem to forget is that people can sense others with their aura.
Have you ever felt like you were being watched without knowing that someone was there?
Yeah.
Your aura doesn't even need to be turned on in order to sense a person because Sean was able to do it before even activating his aura. So how the heck can Blake sneak past the guards without them noticing her?
I'm not good at a lot of memory-related things. It's really, really bad.
So they lose connections to Weiss and then she starts taking out the 2 guards who are escorting her. Those are 2 of her best guards, yet they were somehow beaten by a twig easily without any resistance. Literally, what was their plan if Weiss struggled to take them out and was easily captured by them, or something goes wrong and are about to crash the airship? All of this relies on them just assuming the guards are weak as heck. And instead of having them knocked out within the airship, Weiss decides to throw them out with 1 parachute to have them land in the middle of the ocean. An ice cold ocean too, by the way, because it's snowing there. So she's just letting them swim back to the city? We don't even see those 2 again after this.
And you're
sure you can fly this? Missy, I was the Grim Reaper. What part of best huntress of her generation don't you understand?
Right, but your eyes.
You were saying.
Yes, of course, she just happens to have a USB port that just happened to match with this thing that she can easily import in her eyes to transmit the data from it. How convenient. You know what this reminds me? The scene in What If where they managed to shoot an arrow in one of Ultron's robots that just so happens to have a USB port behind his eye, which was able to easily upload whatever it has they had on it. Shouldn't they have firewalls to prevent foreign objects to work on their military systems? I don't care if her goggles was made by Pietro. Him simply making them wouldn't allow her to interact with their systems, because why would Pietro even do such a thing? I have seen the argument of why doesn't Crow fly the airship. Well, that is assuming he even does know how to fly an airship, and considering I haven't seen a single time in the show where he was flying an airship, we have to assume that he doesn't know how to fly an airship, because if he could, then they would have let him pilot the thing in the first place. He also doesn't even take control of the airship in the final episode and lets Maria fly the thing. The thing that does bother me though is that Weiss asks her if she can even operate it while they're executing their plan. Like, did they not ask Maria if she was even capable enough to fly an airship beforehand? For Weiss to even ask the question when they're on board the airship? Because remember, her eyes don't even function properly and she needs to get them repaired.
You were saying.
That you said your eyes were in desperate need of repair.
She does say that she gets them checked up in Atlas every 10 years, but here is something I don't understand. Like, are there seriously no places in Argus where they are able to repair prosthetic eyes? It's a big city. Like, it can't be that Pietro is the only one who builds prosthetic for people and he only makes them so that he is the only one who can fix them up. What if those people don't live in Atlas and are in desperate need of repair? There is just no way for them to get them fixed? Like, Pietro sure as heck didn't give Mercury his prosthetic legs, unless he did, and he is just the only one in this world who makes prosthetic for people that only he can repair. They treat this as a funny moment, as if I'm not supposed to take what Weiss said seriously, because Maria won't elaborate. And just because it's a joke doesn't mean you have to turn characters into idiots just for a quick laugh. Humor shouldn't come at the expense of characters' competence, and you can still derive humor from stories that make sense. Need I remind you people that Ozpin is still in Oscar's head and he was listening in the whole time, yet he didn't think to stop them from doing such a stupid plan? Ozpin should know that this is a bad idea, cause even if we pretend that Weiss didn't send those guys to their deaths in the middle of the ocean, what happens if those guys do get back to Cordovan and report that Weiss sneak-kicked their bots, stole an airship and ran off with it? You know what could happen? Cordovan can send one of her people to Atlas and report this, which would absolutely get them all arrested. Ozpin would have so much time to think about this outcome and call out how destructive their plan is. So Blake was unable to sabotage the tower because she happened to get attacked by no other than Adam Torres. Yep, he has been following them this whole time in order to get revenge on Blake. And for some reason, Blake is just the only one that doesn't have an earpiece to communicate with her friends. The only thing we see that she dropped is the scroll. Why didn't they think to give Blake an earpiece?
Maybe we should fly over to help Yang and Blake first?
Yeah, maybe you should check on Blake and Yang if they're doing okay. Obviously, not all of you need to go there, but Ruby has super speed and Crow can fly. Especially since Blake is getting attacked currently. Why aren't you checking if her aura is being drained? Remember when you were able to monitor your team's aura count back in volume 1 to 3? Where did that go?
I'm not good at a lot of memory-related things. It's really, really bad.
And also, how did Blake and Yang not sense that Adam was nearby watching them in the woods? Remember, they can sense people watching them with their aura.
Have you ever felt like you were being watched without knowing that someone was there?
Yeah.
And somehow none of them were able to sense that Adam was nearby stalking them this whole time. Like, I can sorta get Blake being paranoid in volume 4 and Sun being able to follow her around, but those are two people there who would be able to sense the same guy, and Blake wasn't acting paranoid anymore. So Cordovan is sending out her giant mech suit in order to stop them.
Consider this a reminder.
What the? Why did they fly near the military base? There's all this open space, yet you decided to go near the military base? The only reason this is done is so that Cordovan can shoot them. Are Maria and Weiss stupid? See, this whole nonsense would not have happened if they just sent Weiss to Atlas. Hold on a second, I just realized something. Cordovan's intent is to kill them with the mech, but like, did she not think of the repercussions of killing Weiss Schnee? Like, let's not forget who Weiss's sister is. And even worse, Jacques and the Atlas Council? Let's also not forget that Cordovan admires Winter. Like, what does she think will happen if Winter finds out that Cordovan killed her own sister? If Cordovan is this much of a blatant psychopath that she has such little regard of her own actions, how did she even get the position of power she does in this story? Why did Ironwood or the rest of the council even allow someone like her to remain in power? What the heck is going on? So anyways, Adam is attacking Blake, and the way he acts during this encounter is completely weird and out of character for him. This is where we need to talk about how poorly handled Adam was in this show. Adam is like one of the most wasted characters ever in RWBY. His original thing in the story was that he was the leader of the White Fang, who are fighting against the inequality in Remnant towards the Faunus. But he does things in a violent manner by killing people. Yet in this, he acts as if he's some psycho ex-lover who is so petty that he wants to get revenge on Blake.
Let go of the past, Adam. Do it for yourself.
Just forget it all? Is that what you did to me? You just threw our memories away?
Adam!
A lot of people have described Adam as this ex-stalker due to what was going on in Volume 6, when he never really had that vibe in the previous volumes. Like, from the way the show portrayed Adam and Blake's relationship, I always thought that he was more like a mentor figure to her, who Blake had a teenage crush on. She even drew him in her notebook. It was never really implied that Blake and Adam actually had a thing going on. And this was also where people want to bring up the comics, which they have apparently kissed before or something. But once again, like I said at the beginning of the video, you can't keep using outside material in order to justify the poor writing within the show if the show itself did a bad job at properly communicating its narrative. And no, Carrie or whoever saying the comics are canon doesn't fix the poor writing of the show. Then in Volume 3, Adam started saying stuff like, "Hello, my darling," as if to imply that they actually did wear a thing this whole time. If he was a true ex-stalker, then he would have followed Blake after the Black trailer and when she escaped in Volume 3, but he wasn't that interested in her since he lets her go like it doesn't matter. He even suggested to forget about her and go back to Mistral.
We'll find her, sir. I swear on my life.
Forget it. It's time I return to Mistral and
It's as if everything that makes Adam an ex-stalker is just invented for him later on, just for the sake of making him an a-hole, which assassinates his character from Volume 2 and 3. I mean, she may have liked Adam, but that doesn't prove definitively they were actually romantically involved in the show. So for him to be this upset over Blake forgetting everything they went through is just completely out of character for Adam. It's like as if they wrote a completely different character for him. I already had my issues with him in Volume 5, where they completely butcher him and just made him a generic bad guy that just kills people who get in his way, despite the fact that he wasn't interested in helping Cinder in the first place and was only doing it because he had a gun pointed to his head, basically. I am not upset because Adam isn't an anti-hero who was always a good guy or whatever the heck people thought of him for some reason. When people say that Adam deserved better from the writers, we don't mean to say that we think he's supposed to be redeemable or you want Adam to deserve better despite the fact that he's a monster? How dare you? There are a lot of people in fiction who are evil monsters but are still interesting characters. It's because we spent like 5 volumes in this White Fang plot just for him to be a poorly written weak little B-word. You can tell me as many times as you want of how much of an evil monster he is, but that doesn't automatically mean he has to be a poorly written character with barely any screen time and inconsistent motives who's barely developed. It's a waste of a character to just give him barely anything to do and justify it by being like, well, he's supposed to be a pathetic loser in the end, as if that automatically means they fixed the character, despite the fact that he was acting completely different in the past volumes, who didn't equate to him being a pathetic loser, but a competent guy who the White Fang look up to because they believe that he gets things done with his methods. There are also people who come up with like the most insane things ever to even justify this narrative that he has been an evil monster like he is in Volume 5 and 6 this whole time, by saying stuff of like Adam was never really a victim to racism. He was only pretending to be to gain a following from the White Fang, and he intentionally branded his eye with the Schnee Dust Company logo in order to get sympathy from others. The show never proved that it's a fake to begin with, and you seriously think Adam would intentionally burn the logo into his eye on purpose? Like, why would he purposefully cripple his left eye like this when it can limit his performance? Granted, the Schnee Dust Company doing that to their workers is stupid in the first place due to, like I said, it would limit their performance. Like, it's very obvious that he, a minority, got the company's logo branded on his face, had something to do with racism. Or something else that's also insane that people say is that Blake is an SA victim? Like, where the heck did that come from? If she was actually SA'd, then the show should have actually made it clear. And what's even worse is that I saw some people make the argument that Adam stabbing Blake in this area is like a metaphor for doing the thing, which is just an insane thing to compare it to. If stabs count as SA in RWBY, then does that mean this was the same? Or this scene? 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 And what makes this even nuts is when they said Blake stabbing Adam is like a way of getting back at him for doing it. So like what? It's fine for Blake to reverse essay him? Alright, I think that's enough. Let's actually move on. The point is simply that Adam is acting completely out of character here. And his character could have been more interestingly explored due to the fact that he was a slave and became incredibly violent. So Adam here is wearing blindfolds for some reason. I don't get it. Is he able to sense where Blake is and all of her movements? I mean, I know you can sense a person with your aura, but does that also mean they can sense all of your movements and attacks? Is he Daredevil? Even if we assume that this is something you can do, why would he do it in the first place? Why didn't he go for an eye patch or just covered up one of his eye? Like, I get the whole point of it is so that you can keep the logo as secret, but why would Adam in universe just intentionally make himself blind just to fight Blake like this? Blake just struggles so heavily when fighting Adam, and she doesn't even use her shadow clones when they're a very useful ability. I get Adam was stronger than her in Volume 3, but let's not pretend as if Blake just forgot how to use her own semblance. Blake makes her way up there, but then Adam just teleports right in front of her. Gee, I didn't know Adam had a second semblance known as off-screen teleportation.
You're joking, right? You want to fight this thing? We've fought giant monsters before. This is just a tiny old lady.
What? When did you guys ever fight a monster the size of the mech suit? None that I can think of. So why do you think you'd have a chance against Cordovan based on this idiotic statement that means absolutely nothing? They all looked at the charge of the weapon. They all just stood there, so that Viz had to come in and create a rock wall that is somehow stronger than the Max Blast, which was designed to fight off giant unversed. They didn't even bother to move away, and none of them thought to do the same thing Viz did with Dust, because for some reason the characters just don't want to utilize Dust at all, and Viz just seems to be the only one who does. That they need
that wall should have exploded.
Also, I find it funny that they always need Viz to perform Dust abilities. It's like none of them ever use
do that. RWBY could have literally just shot an ice bullet right there at super speed.
No one ever uses Dust that way. And instead of these kids giving up or retreating since they screwed up, they think it's a good idea to destroy the only means of fighting off giant unversed to defend the city. You cannot be serious. So now the rest of the episodes is focused on them fighting this mech suit and Blake and Yang fighting Adam.
Surely you knew Atlas was the father of hard light dust.
What? Dust? Hold the f*** on. What did she say?
Wait.
Light dust.
Hard light dust?
Hard light, yeah.
What the f*** is hard light dust? We're getting introduced to random new dust that I didn't even know about. What the f***? You can't just introduce random dust abilities. I don't know. What is hard light dust?
I don't.
What is hard? Nah, I'm looking it up.
Maybe hard light dust is. I have two answers. I only have. There's only two ideas I have in my right now, and both of them are both really stupid for what they could be trying to say right here.
I uploaded to YouTube privately.
You uploaded to YouTube privately?
No, I uploaded to YouTube.
Us too.
Oh, okay. Hard light dust is cyan in color and can be used to form solid objects made of light energy, being a combination of fire, water, lightning, and wind. It is the rarest type of dust that can seemingly only be artificially made. If fire, water, and lightning and wind is so common in RWBY, how is it a rare thing? It is the rarest type
Also,
of
they
dust
treat like
that
holographic. Also, since it's holographic stuff, and we see that like in like a volume 2, they replace like the streetlights with like a holographic.
Yeah, exactly. Indicating that Atlas was a major user and creator of technology that used this dust. It is largely produced by the Schnee Dust Company. One example of it is used in the laser-like projectiles first used by Viz in Players and Pieces, with a similar version being used in the white. Wait, so are they talking about? Are they saying the lasers that she shot in at the Wasp in Volume 5? Is that what she's talking about?
That was what that was?
With a similar version being used in the White trailer. Another use of Hardlight Dust is the creation of shields by both people and technology. Viz first uses it as a personal shield while fighting the White Fang Lieutenant in No Breaks. What? When did she ever use it? I'm confused. As a personal shield while fighting the White Fang Lieutenant. I don't recall her using a shield there.
What?
Unless I'm misremembering, but okay. And its first technological use is seen in the Amity Coliseum throughout Volume 3. The cities of Argus and Atlas also use it for defense. Shield technology appears to be its primary use in RWBY the Grimm campaign. Hardlight dust can be used to create display cases. It also has been seen in the pipes of a train engine in Mistral. Okay. Velvet. Oh no. Oh no. Velvet.
No.
Velvet Scarlatina's
Oh, no.
weapon, Anesidora, projects hardlight dust into the shape of weaponry that she has taken photographs of. Due to the dust embargo, Velvet has had a harder time managing to get her hands on hardlight dust and is forced to hold off to using her weapons copying feature. Using her weapons copying feature as a result, hardlight dust is shown.
They just validated what? Oh my god!
What?
Oh my god!
So she can use hardlight dust to create holograms of weapons.
Why doesn't Atlas do that? Oh my gosh, Atlas can literally do what she does.
Why does
my stance right that Atlas could do what she does.
Why does Velvet have the dumbest weapon in the entire show? Why does she limit herself? Why does she have such an impractical freaking weapon that she has to use rare dust?
Rare.
Imagine you don't have any hardlight dust. Velvet can literally not use her weapon at all. How did she graduate combat school and go to Beacon Academy?
Even worse, how did she even get that kind of dust like when she was like in Vacuo? Vacuo!
Yeah!
Remember, she's from Vacuo.
She's from Vacuo!
She's from Vacuo!
Oh my god! Hardlight dust is shown to be burning to touch, having burnt the skin off James Ironwood's left arm during the fight in Argus Watt. So hardlight dust is just hologram magic? Is that what this is?
Well, it can be used as that, but it can apparently be used for more thanks to we know about Velvet or whatever.
Because like saying it's made of light energy is like very vague. What does that mean? It's made of light energy. This is what the wiki says.
Also, if it's a combination of like
it's a combination
of fire, water, lightning, and wind. It shouldn't be rare. It should be common.
Yeah, that's what I said.
All you have to do is apply those aspects together.
Yeah.
How does rock contribute? How does earth stuff contribute to light?
Yeah.
I mean, how does water contribute to light? How does fire contribute to that? It doesn't produce like constructs. Like how's that do that in correlation to wind? What's the correlation between those things?
Where did this info even come from? Is this like from an art book or something?
But nothing about the abilities like would explain how like it's a combination of like all of these kinds of dust. It should just be a completely new thing.
Yeah, like why isn't it just a new?
How would they even qualify? How would they even qualify in the lore that like it's a combination of these specific types of dust? The only way they would know is if they actually experimented on it and like figured out like the components that build up to it. But if that's the case, it should be common to make that kind of dust for Atlas
Guys.
and other kingdoms.
Guys, this whole conversation's gotta be in the video.
Oh my
This whole
gosh.
conversation about hard light dust is gonna be in the video. I've no idea. Like you just bring up this random dust that was never brought up in the previous volumes ever, and you're like, ha ha ha, we're the grandfather of this dust, and it's like, what is that? What are you talking about? I don't think you understand how much of an issue this is. If this so-called hard light dust is such a useful thing that can create shields and stuff, then how is it that characters don't utilize it a lot in the series? Why does Penny not utilize hard light dust? If she did, then she wouldn't have been killed by Pyrrha so easily. It would have literally been a second force field for the characters than just relying on their aura to protect them. Remember that characters are able to embed dust into clothing?
Embedding dust into clothing is an age-old technique. It could have been any.
What about the villains? They stole every speck of dust in the kingdom, and you're telling me none of them decided to utilize hard light dust for extra protection? If Weiss had hard light dust with her, did she even bother giving it to any of her friends? Wait, I thought she had a force field turned on. How is Crow able to slice on its mech suit like this? Or are you telling me that she can only generate a force field from her hand? Why would you design your mech like this and not have it cover the whole suit? RWBY was even able to shoot a bullet at the window and it made a small crack. Why didn't they think to put shields there? Are they stupid? They make it like such a big deal that they found the shield generator. It's also incredibly stupid how easily he was able to open that thing up. RWBY can fly, but instead she decides to let herself fall in the hopes that Weiss will catch her. But then when they destroyed the generator, they actually do show that there was a force field surrounding its body. If that's the case, then how were Crow, RWBY and Ren able to hang on to it? So you have a force field that just does whatever the heck it feels like? Seriously, who designed this thing? Jean noticed that she was about to smack her, and instead of Nora noticing the same thing, she instead decided to just stand still and take the hit, so that Jean can come in and save her. Oh, and what a surprise, it broke their aura, because of course it did. What the heck is RWBY doing? So they jump off from Weiss's summon and they all were able to land, but RWBY just stops using her semblance and lets herself fall for no reason? Well, yeah, because we had to add in stakes in our story, because otherwise there wouldn't be any. And it's not like RWBY can't use her semblance in a stationary position, because she has done it before multiple times, even when she was in midair. It's not like she lost her aura or anything. Wait, what? So she's able to grab a missile in midair without it just blowing up after catching it? Are you actually kidding me? And this is used so that she can redirect the shot back to the airship? You cannot be serious.
Wait, let's see where they were shooting it from to begin with. So she could react to that, but couldn't react to them climbing on her.
Yeah. So Blake and Adam are still fighting and he managed to cut her coat off somehow. And then they make their way to this waterfall and she finally decided to use her semblance. That's good. And even Yang herself managed to enter the fight and they fight Adam together. So something I want to mention is that it's incredibly weak to have Adam be a Yang villain. The only reason she's the one who gets to fight him is because he was the one who cut her arm off and she was suffering from PTSD over it. But then after Yang and Blake both killed him, they treated as if doing that solved their whole conflict they had with him. That's about all that is done with Yang. Her PTSD doesn't even hinder her during fights. Like I said in my volume 4 video, it never did anything to her throughout the rest of this arc. I would think it would narratively make more sense that instead of it being Yang who gets her arm cut off, it should have been Weiss. It would have made more sense if Weiss was involved with Adam, considering her entire story in volume 1 was about how much she hates the White Fang and that she's a Schnee who was supposed to take over the Schnee Dust Company. It also fits with Adam's whole story of being an abused slave, and it would have fueled her anger towards the White Fang even more. It could have even made Blake and Weiss's dynamic a lot more interesting considering she used to know this guy and admired him. The fact that Weiss and Adam never even got to interact was such a big mistake. And the fact that now of all times he decides to show the logo that was being burned to him to them means almost nothing at this point. Why is Yang the one who gets to see what's been done to him, but not the character who should have actually gotten involved? It's as if Yang and Blake fighting Adam now of all times is just to make them complete this thing that they supposedly have with each other. Remember that Yang and Blake never reconciled or made up back in Argus, but now they pretend as if this is some completion to their character development, which brings them together even closer, supposedly. You can't just conclude this relationship they have with each other if they never even put in the legwork of developing it in the first place. Again, they never ironed out their issues that they had back in Argus. Why should this moment be anything significant? This is just starting up a conflict and then skipping right to the conclusion without anything being done in between. Reminder that those two never really interact much back in volume 1 to 3. The only thing we got was this backstory that Yang told Blake about. But like I said back in my volume 5 video, it's not special to Blake herself because all of her other friends know about her backstory as well. And then after she left, Yang acted as if she was like such a close friend when Blake did absolutely nothing with her, and when she came back she just accepted her back despite the fact that they never made up at all. How am I supposed to buy the supposed conclusion of their development when they never actually bothered on bringing them closer in the first place? You cannot be serious.
She's not protecting me, Adam, and I'm not protecting her. We're protecting each other.
That's such a stupid line. That's literally what it means. That's literally what protecting each other mean. You're protecting her and her protecting you.
Like Pyromaker, Honeycomb. You don't have my back and I don't have yours. We have each other's backs.
Yeah, that's literally what it... Yeah, it's literally what... Like, they thought they cooked with this line. They thought they cooked with this line, but it's such a stupid line. So anyways, Yang and Adam fight, but then Blake says this.
His semblance is like yours. He absorbs energy through his sword, stores it up, and then sends it back when he's ready.
And Adam just stands there and lets them talk during all of this, apparently.
Like, Adam cannot use his weapon, and his weapon is also linked to his semblance. Without it, he's basically just a guy who's slightly stronger than the average civilians.
Also, even if he grabbed the weapon, all they have to do is just beat him up.
How is that possible? How is his sword... How is his sword linked to his aura? Or to his semblance?
Like something... Like Blake said that his sword absorbs energy.
Yeah, but...
And apparently that's his semblance.
Yeah, but how is that to his sword and not to himself? Wouldn't that be to himself and not his sword? His sword is not...
Yeah, sounds like this show's stupid.
His sword
unless apparently this sword specifically, somehow Adam got this single specific sword that can use his semblance.
Did he like materialize the sword from himself or something?
No, this is not a Zanpakuto. She's not Ichigo. It's not Ichigo.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
Oh my gosh, this is no...
How is that even possible? I just realized this. Like, that's even funnier because only now we learned about what his semblance is, and not earlier in the show. So that makes it even funnier. And second of all, I think they did that because otherwise it would be the exact same semblance as Yang's, and they can't have that because otherwise they have the same semblance. And they just made it, it's gonna be my sword. I somehow store my... Like, come on, it shouldn't have been a semblance. It should have just been his sword.
I've uploaded his semblance to YouTube.
Great, another story time. Alright. Moonslice was the semblance of Adam Torres. It was first used in the Black trailer and eventually explained in The Lady in the Shoe. It was first used in the Black trailer. Okay. It allowed him to absorb energy in his weapon, wilt and blush, and send it back when ready. What? Oh, there's a description. By blocking with his sword, Adam was able to absorb power from enemy attacks and relinquish it as deadly energy strikes. This let him avoid taking damage directly using absorption. But left him highly vulnerable if disarmed, as shown in his fight with Blake and Yang in the forest outside Argus. It is unknown whether he could do the same thing with other weapons, as he has only been wielding his own. His semblance strength seemed to depend on how much energy he had previously absorbed. as it was powerful enough to completely disintegrate a spider droid in the Black trailer after absorbing a large energy beam. It was also strong enough to overpower Yang Xiaolong's aura. Actually no, because she was able to block it. and sever her arm in a single strike in Heroes and Monsters. So he was able to do it then, but he wasn't able to do it now. Adam could retain the stored energy for some time before choosing to unleash it. Attacks from Adam's semblance appear as precise arc-shaped slashes whenever he was in control of focusing on a target. They could also be larger, violently rippling bursts of energy in instances where he lost his composure or fought more aggressively. He could also project it as a sequence of after images, which he could attack in tandem with rapid success. In instances when he absorbed attacks or prepared a fatal strike, everything red on him, such as his hair, blade and attire, would glow as him dimmed around him. Blake compared Adam's semblance to Yang's burn. While both acted as a reprisal to stockpile damage, Yang has to feel it while Adam absorbs it harmlessly, which she desires as unfair. Okay, so nowhere in this does it explain how it goes to his weapon.
Yeah, how does... why does the weapon need to be a conduct for?
It just says he's able to store energy from the attacks, but it doesn't explain how he does it to his weapon. Especially since the wiki also says it's unknown if he can do it with other weapons. So we have to assume it's a special weapon.
How would there even be a special weapon out there for it? For his specific semblance.
Well, that's what I mean. Like that's why I assumed like he absorbed, like he materialized the sword. But like you said, it's not a Zanpakuto, so like I don't even know anymore.
So if it he needs to materialize the sword, couldn't he just make another sword inside of himself to use as a weapon? How does that work?
I love how every time we want an explanation and look something up on the fandom wiki, we keep asking even more questions.
I mean, that's just RWBY as a whole. Every time they answer a question, we're left with even more questions.
Kingdom Hearts answers more questions than this show does.
And Kingdom Hearts is has a ton of lore.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts has so much lore, but it's like it's easier to follow than RWBY is. At least
it's easier to make sense of, at least.
Yeah, at least it's like, oh, this happened because of this happened, and it's like, oh, okay, so that explains it. Because like they even explain it most of the time in the games. I know, like people clown at like Kingdom Hearts over-explaining everything, but I actually sometimes I think like I appreciate it because like they acknowledge the things that like that shouldn't be possible, but like they explain how it is possible, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that explains it. If that is what his semblance does, then what is the whole deal of him making clones of himself during the fight? The only thing they described that his semblance is able to do is store up people's hits with his weapon. Does he also have a secret third semblance? Or did they not expect me to ask any questions about it and it's just there for hype moments and aura? Because we never get any answers to that. What makes this even worse is the fact that this whole thing was originally Monty's animations. Because originally Yang was supposed to fight Adam back in Volume 3 instead of getting one-shotted like a weakling. But Adam's semblance was something he did in the Black trailer as well, and it wasn't explained what his semblance is up until this episode came out. It's likely that Monty and the others weren't thinking about its implication and were just doing it for hype moments and aura, and we're just hoping that no one would ever question it. If I was them, I would have actually changed this line of dialogue by saying that his semblance is being able to create clones and that his weapon is absorbing energy, because that's just what it does. Would have been way easier than just letting whatever the heck this animation was supposed to be put in this volume and then just not give any explanations on anything at all. Maybe we were supposed to just believe that it's part of his semblance, seeing as the glow is the same. But how does him being able to clone himself correlate to him being able to absorb energy in his weapon and releasing from it? Because if his semblance was that he is able to release energy from himself, then that would have made more sense. But that's not what Blake described his semblance to be. Why would he need a sword to absorb energy? Why can't he take it on his own? Cause once he loses his weapon, he acts like he can't do anything anymore. The meta reason is likely because otherwise it would be the same as Yang's semblance, so they came up with this weird idea that he stores it up at his weapon, and we don't get any more explanations beyond that. So what is even going on? Previously he was able to one-shot her, but now she's able to block all his giant blasts that somehow didn't break her aura. So Yang did forget to turn on her aura in volume 3? And also, why is it that now they are able to tank so many blows with their aura, but not all the other times in the show? You can't just cheat with aura like this whenever you feel like it. Why can't you just stay consistent with how many blows the characters can take before they break their aura? It wasn't even able to break her metal arm, and they make it seem like it barely scratched the surface of it. How strong is this arm? So Oscar comes up with this plan of shooting the thing where the missiles come out. But Cordovan took notice and they missed. Then Cordovan blasts another lightning shot, and now it affects her eyes so badly that she can't see anymore, which means Oscar needs to take over. Why did it affect her here and not the first time around? I don't know, I guess she got lucky or something.
Ruby, stop!
I need you to trust me.
No, he doesn't need you to trust you on anything anymore. Look around you, Ruby. Our plan has gone downhill, and you should realize that this plan was really bad.
Surrender for your crimes and accept your punishment.
No! We're going to Atlas! Bigger people than you have tried to stop us and failed. But we're supposed to be on the same side.
We're supposed to use our power to protect people, but you just use yours to look down on everyone.
We didn't want to steal from you. We did it because you gave us no other choice. Now I'm giving you one last chance to stand down and hear us out.
I find it extremely hilarious that Team RWBY are all about the truth and transparency, yet they can't trust Cordovan about the dangerous relic they have on their hands, which is actively putting people in danger right at this moment and needs to be brought to Ironwood's protection because it holds valuable knowledge that he and Atlas can use. They talk about working on the same side, yet they don't give a real reason why they should go to Atlas beyond "I wanna go there." They criticize Ospen for not being honest about the relic attracting Unversed, yet they deliberately bring it with them into the city of Argus, which not only can put everyone else in danger, but Sean's sister and her wife and child. They put children in danger because they couldn't trust Cordovan with this rather important information. Why are these heroes meant to be the defender of the world? They never even acknowledge that the Unversed that arrived to the city at the end might have arrived thanks to the relic. You guys literally stole an airship. All of this could have been avoided if you guys just let Weiss go to Atlas and have her get Ironwood to bring you guys here.
We didn't want to steal from you. We did it because you gave us no other choice.
If Miss Schnee has truly come to her senses and wishes to return to her family, then of course, the Atlas military will escort her home.
I can't believe this show is seriously expecting me to believe like this is some badass moment from RWBY and that she expects her to stand down and hear them out. You cannot be serious.
Want to steal from you. We did it because you gave us no other choice.
Yes, she did.
Yes, she did.
She said she was gonna
give Weiss to go to Atlas, and y'all literally agree with that.
Exactly. You could have done that. She could have gone to
use that for your
Ironwood.
plan here.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, they literally abused their trust of letting Weiss go to Atlas just to initiate their stupid plan.
I love how they just don't trust Weiss to go alone, even if you bring Crow along or something.
Oh my gosh, they literally don't even search her. They don't even search her bag for stuff. So they literally could have brought the relic on there.
Yeah, and Crow.
And they wouldn't question it at all.
And Maria.
Well, Maria doesn't matter. You can bring Crow.
But the fact that they still bring
Maria. The relic would be less suspicious than Giant Maria in that bag.
I love how she
even if they found it, they wouldn't really correlate to anything. And would just let Weiss keep it.
This is so gay. Yeah. So RWBY decides to go inside the barrel and Cordovan is so shocked at it that she doesn't decide to shoot it. Your intention is to kill them, so why don't you eliminate her immediately? And all of her friends run towards her without knowing what she's about to do. Yet Weiss doesn't decide to use her time dilation in an attempt to save RWBY or any of her other glyph abilities.
RWBY,
told you.
Yes, they did it, guys. They ruined the mech that is used to fight off giant unversed. Back with Yang, Blake, and Adam.
You knew you couldn't win 2-on-1 at Haven. What makes you so sure you can win now?
I don't have a choice. I have people who actually care about me, and I promised I'd never leave them again. So I'm not dying now.
Cool story, Blake, but that doesn't really answer Adam's question. Like, I'm sure Sun cared about you as well back at Haven. How exactly is it any different with Yang here just because she's someone who cares about you? Heck, if anything, her bond with Sun should be way stronger than Yang because he actually went out of his way to track you down after you left and talked with you about your issues of pushing your friends away. He did more of an effort to actually help her. And it's not like Blake and Yang have actually done anything in all of Volume 6 aside from Blake telling her that she's gonna protect her and Yang feeling offended by it, which once again they never even developed any further. Wouldn't it have made more sense if Blake was like, "You're right, Adam, but you haven't fought us both as a team before"? I mean, it's not really much, but it would have made more sense given the context that they have been partners at Beacon for a whole year, which is way more than she fought alongside Sun. I know that what I'm saying is mostly based on stuff happening off screen, but it would make more sense as a line compared to mentioning about how much people care for you, as if that's news to Adam. I also love how she says that when Yang is the only one who came to help her, like Crow could have gone to help her out. You know, I find it pretty weird that Yang didn't even bother calling for backup when she likely noticed that all of the guards are dead at the tower and Blake was missing. I guess she just really wanted to fight Adam alone with her. I mean, she didn't even know it was Adam. Like, how could she? She deliberately goes to a cliffside far away because somehow she knew that Blake was down there and that she was fighting Adam somehow, which is what makes her knock her bike into him in the first place. How did she know that Blake was down there? The most we can say is maybe she saw Blake's code, but that wouldn't automatically lead her into going into the mountainside above. She would have kept driving straight and encountered the fight on ground level. Even if it did lead her to the waterfall, how does that determine that she knew Adam was there? Did she stop at the waterfall, looked down, noticed she was there, and then drove back to gain speed so that she can toss her bike at him? That's not plausible because Yang specifically driving around the area was enough for Blake to notice she was there.
Yeah, okay, pause, whatever. I don't care about their like girl boss moment. So like Blake has super hearing. They're just telling us that now.
Well, how well can cats hear in real life?
I don't believe they can hear literal motorcycles driving from a distance.
How no?
Also, it doesn't matter. Like,
I mean, that waterfall was pretty loud.
How they established it here. She just heard the motorcycle going off, and that was enough for her to pinpoint. Oh yeah, that's Yang, and she's about to drive here. She's about to. I don't even know how she. Like this feels all like this is choreographed. Like as some theater play, but not like an actual fight that's happening in the universe.
Look, Blake read the script, and she knows what is gonna happen. Also, even if Yang deliberately drove there not loud enough for Blake to somehow hear her, she wouldn't prioritize driving backwards a long distance to gain speed to then throw it at Adam. She would have actually entered the fight. This is Adam we're talking about. The guy who took out Blake with ease the last time Yang saw them encounter each other. Yang wouldn't waste such valuable time just to do a move she can't know will definitely hit Adam because Blake and Adam's fighting can move them in different positions, which makes what she does a waste of time since she can't alter her bike's direction in midair. If Yang really needed to strike with her bike that she feels the need to use it as a weapon, why not pick it up and throw it? Since she's super strong and throwing actually allows you to control where the object is heading. Heck, even if she's somehow not strong enough to do that, she can activate her semblance for a split second to do the throw and then go back to her normal stance, which is a smarter idea if she's actually taking her father's advice for not using up her semblance, but also using it more situationally. And I know you probably want to say that in order for her to use her semblance, she needs to absorb damage, but there were countless times where she activated it without currently getting damaged. So Yang straight up couldn't know. They made it such a massive problem for a sequence of cause and effect for no reason. Whatever, man, you're asking too many questions. Just look at the hype moments and aura. This also brings up some questions regarding Blake's hearing in this scene. If Blake had such good hearing that she can hear a motorcycle from so far away, it wasn't even audible responsible to Adam, then how did she not hear him when he's been stalking her to the base?
You know, she made a promise to me once that she'd always be at my side, and look how well she's kept it.
Did she make that promise to you? Or to the person you were pretending to be?
How does Yang know that? What Yang even said here doesn't even correlate with what Blake said back in volume 2 and 3. She described Adam as someone who's changed over time.
I had someone very dear to me change. It wasn't in an instant, it was gradual. Little choices that began to pile up.
When I realized my oldest partner had become a monster, I ran.
So he was a different person in the past compared to how he is now. He was willing to let her go in volume 3 as well. This whole thing feels like a complete waste of time in order to somewhat finish the White Fang storyline. It's like the main plot has been put on pause to focus on this petty fight. So they fight him and beat him up, but then Adam counter Blake's attack and she loses her aura.
Hit me already! What does she even see in you?
What? Why would you even say that just based on them holding hands together and saying that they're going to protect each other? Does that automatically equate to them having a thing for each other? Maybe this line was put in because it was a way to set something up that is going to be done later on in the show. I wonder. So Blake comes up as well and they're both trying to reach for Blake's weapon. But then Blake was able to pick it up and both Blake and Yang stab and kill Adam. They act as if them murdering Adam is a celebratory moment. You cannot be serious. You're probably asking yourself, why is it a bad thing considering Adam was trying to murder them and Blake was pretty much doing it out of self-defense? I don't know if that can really be said considering they were all out of aura, and even if Adam had Blake's weapon, they could have just beat him up, so they intentionally killed him. But why is this a problem? The issue with his death is the fact that Adam was a victim of abuse and racism. Blake described Adam as someone who was a good guy who turned into a monster back in volume 2 and 3. So let me ask you this. Why was it okay for Blake to try and save Elia, someone who was also a violent psycho like Adam, who attempted to murder her own parents, yet she decided that she can stop her and try to turn her to the good side, yet the same cannot be applied to her old partner that she appreciated in the past? It makes Blake seem like a hypocrite. Is it because Elia is an uwu cute girl and Adam is a big meanie? What kind of double standards is this? Why did she not try to knock him out and have him be arrested by the police? What kind of message do you want to send us by having crazy individuals like Elia be redeemed because she was an old friend that she knew in the past and knows that can be redeemed, but not the guy who, according to Blake's own words, turned bad over time? Was there seriously no way for you to try and redeem this guy? Blake just seems to not care about the fact that Adam used to be a different person in the past and just thinks killing him is the definitive answer. Even if we want to say that killing him was the only option she had, both her and Yang never talk about the fact that they killed him ever again. They don't show any remorse or wonder if killing him and letting him fall was even the right choice. Blake does tell her friends what happened back there, but all they say to it is that they're happy this nightmare is over, almost disregarding the fact that Adam used to be a good guy. It's like the only reason they wanted to kill him was because of a certain thing they wanted to push, and to just get the White Fang stuff over with, which is just the lamest way you can kill off a character who used to be very significant to not only the main story, but Blake herself. It's as if Adam meant absolutely nothing to her. You cannot be serious. Obviously, this is also with the fact of how horribly handled Adam's character has been in volume 5 and 6. Another thing for why I don't like Blake's reasoning for killing Adam, based on he is a danger and can hurt her friends, is cause in volume 4, she was worried about the exact same thing with Sun, when she already knew who the person who did that to Sun is Elia, yet she never wanted to kill her for hurting Sun out of a fear that she can actually hurt her friends. Her reasoning for killing Adam is so shallow. No remorse for the fact that she killed her old partner who used to be a good guy. It's okay to save disturbed individuals who are fine with murdering your parents and kidnapping you, and is fine with committing terrorism and letting children get hurt or die, but it's not okay to save this other disturbed individual who also commits terrorism, kills people, and all kinds of horrible things. Okay, sure. This is what they bond over, killing a person.
Like, who cannot defend himself anymore, like he doesn't have his weapon.
Like listen to the music too. It was like now bombastic when they literally just kill him right now.
It's a celebratory moment.
Like they think it's the show does think it's like some hype moment. Like they just murder a guy.
So back with the other clowns, Cordovan is big mad and orders her men to come in, but they were trying to reach her this whole time because there's a big unverse coming towards the city. Gee, I wonder whose fault this is. And since the mech is currently stuck in the ground and can't move, they can't use it to defend the city. Gee, I wonder whose fault this is. Oh boy, the final episode of this amazing volume. I wonder how it's gonna end. So it starts off with Neo bringing over an airship to wherever the heck Cinder is, and they're both given new outfits. She disguises her ship as an Atlas ship. At first I question myself, how were they able to get to Atlas? The borders are closed, and the military would likely have scanners to scan for incoming airships. And let's not also forget the fact that Atlas is also surrounded by military airships. But to be fair, Cinder did say that it is enough to get to Solitas.
It should get us to Solitas.
She didn't say they were directly flying to Atlas, so my best guess is that they didn't fly directly to Atlas, they flew around it somewhere where they wouldn't detect them coming into Solitas, and just made their way like that into Atlas somewhere. Cinder can fly, and she would have likely been able to carry Neo together with her illusions, so I guess that explains how they were able to get inside Atlas undetected. Also, once again, they're entering like a cold place, yet they both decided to wear things that have their arms, legs, shoulders and belly exposed.
After that, you might want to try materializing yourself some snow boots.
What?
Like, you guys really
Why
don't
is
look...
Neo in a new costume?
Like, none of the...
Because
like, these two
she needs
really
a new
don't look
design.
like these two don't
Oh,
look
to
like
show
they're
off her
fit
tits.
for the winter. Like, a snowy setting.
Yeah.
Like,
She's
imagine
supposed
going
to be
to...
more exposed.
Yeah, they all...
Like,
she has to be more exposed. This is
Like,
so
imagine
stupid.
going to Canada or Moscow dressed like this. There are places where like, can you guess how strong winter can be in some places like Moscow?
I would think like very strong.
Like, it's strong enough for snow to build up to be like bigger than cars.
Yeah, wow. So the giant Unverse is approaching while flying Unversed are near the city attacking all of the airships, which I think is kinda weird because wouldn't the Unversed already have entered the city at this point? Blake and Yang also managed to make it back to the others. So instead of trying to help Cordovan or attempt to free the machine since you're able to cut off the arm, you decided to just leave her here despite the fact that all of this was your fault in the first place? Remember, RWBY said they're on the same side, yet they just left her there in the mech.
Wow, what an asshole.
So Blake and Yang talk about what happened to them and they're just happy that she's back, disregarding the fact that they have killed the guy who they should know used to be somewhat significant in Blake's life. This is how we solve trauma, people. We just hug it out and then completely forget about it for the rest of the show. Also, notice how they never even bring up the Atlas personnel that were murdered by Adam? With the fact that they are all dead and the only people who they know were involved in this airship heist were Blake and Yang, they didn't even know about Adam's existence. So when the military would go and check out the place and realize that all of them are dead, they would question Team RWBY on this since Adam isn't there. Yet the rest of the show never bothered to address this ever, which just makes Team RWBY look even more suspicious if RWBY claims that they're all on the same side. Also, are you for real? Are there no huntsmen in Argus? Why is it that every time huntsmen should be available to help, they're just never around? Like, I get that the Unverse didn't make their way to the city itself for some reason, but it's just a thing that has bothered me ever since volume 1. The fact we never see huntsmen around that should be helping out the people. It's always up to the students to come in and help, and sometimes the teachers. But like, with how popular huntsmen are and how they're described as noble warriors, it really is a shame that we never see any around. Like, sure, we can make the argument that they went out to help in Mistral because of the supposed Unverse attacks that have been going on there according to Leo, but it's just so lame in general that we never see that many that should be around more common in this universe up until now. So they put up hard light shields around the city and the Unverse can't get through, but then he shoots out fire and destroys one of its generator things, which ends up in the shield being down. You cannot be serious. Who designed this? Why would you have the generator thing done in a way that it can easily be destroyed by a giant Unverse breathing fire? Wow, it's that easy for the Leviathan to destroy its generator. I thought these shield shields were specifically designed for giant unverse like these. Yet they didn't expect that it would tear right through it when it breathes fire on the metal thing. Why did you not bother shielding the generator? Did you seriously not expect that it would destroy it so easily? How did these people survive for so long in this universe operating like idiots? It's not like this is some new unverse type that they don't know about. They specifically said that it's a Leviathan.
It's a Leviathan! It began its approach during your battle!
So they should know what it is and what it can do. Did they not have any tests on these tower things to see how durable it is? Did they not think to have it also generate a shield? The fact that you can easily destroy them from the outside? You cannot be serious. So RWBY comes in with the genius idea to blast the Unverse with her silver eyes. In order to do that, she needs the others to distract it so that Weiss can make her fly on the wasp. For some reason they portray Weiss having to concentrate when using her summon and that she has to put her glyph up at all times, when that's not how they portrayed how her summon works in all of the other times she used them. In fact, she is also able to use her glyphs for other things as well, while also having her summon out. So here is something I didn't understand. Why didn't you think to give RWBY extra time by using time dilation on her? Also, how stupid of RWBY to just throw her earpiece in the water. So in order to activate her silver eyes, she is thinking about her past memories, but it didn't end up working. She needs extra time. So what she does is call for Jin in order to give herself extra time, which I'll admit is pretty clever. So she flashes through even more memories until we get a glimpse of Summer Rose, like as if we're supposed to care about her other than RWBY cares about her. I'm kinda confused as to why thinking about Summer makes her activate her eyes, because it didn't react when she saw Pyrrha and Penny in mind, like it did last time. Like, aren't the eyes meant to activate from her desire of wanting to protect people? We know with her talk with Oscar that their death is meant to be a thing that encourages her to continue moving forward, so wouldn't thinking of them make her more focused on saving the lives for everyone there? Like, I get she misses her mom, but she seemed to be over it in Volume 3, and Summer Rose died when she was a 2-year-old. Why would she randomly think back to a time where she's looking over a sunset of all things? There is no significance towards that moment. It's literally a moment out of context. They just wanted to have an excuse to put Summer Rose in the scene, but didn't want to put in the effort to give RWBY a significant moment that would give her the desire to protect the people right now, when Pyrrha and Penny's death would be a lot more significant for her current timeline. Oh, but guess what? Her eyes did jack. That's right, this moment that is supposed to be super hype and cool meant absolutely nothing. Instead, Cordovan comes out at the last minute and destroys the Unversed immediately. You cannot be serious. You're telling me that you decided to give these characters this grand finale where they accomplished absolutely nothing other than giving Cordovan extra seconds? You know, this whole thing could have been over with immediately if you guys decided to free her from the beginning instead of just leaving her in the mech like this.
The Atlas military can handle the stragglers.
What are you saying?
I'm saying I don't think anyone would notice if one more ship went missing in my lengthy report.
What? Why would she change? Team RWBY were literally the cause of having your mech get damaged. They were the ones responsible for drawing in all the Unversed. They were the ones who stole an airship from the military, and they were the ones who left you in your own mech without helping you out. And now all of a sudden you're okay with what they did and let them have the airship so that they can go to Atlas? Just because they gave her extra few seconds so that she can come in and destroy the Unversed? You cannot be serious. All it did was give her extra few seconds.
Yeah, like,
RWBY's eyes were pointless.
I just imagine Cordovan giving RWBY a thank you for making the Grimm stand still for me.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it did. It just gave her extra few seconds.
Also, Cordovan had to destroy her own mech to even get free.
The military can handle the stragglers.
What? Why would you change? They literally left you to die.
Why would she change?
Because they stopped, because they gave her a few seconds to give her hype moments in aura. You have no reason to let them go to Atlas after what they just did. Whatever, who cares? It's a good thing, because now they are able to get to Atlas. All's well that ends well, right? So all of them are glad that all of this is over, but Oscar reveals that Osmond has been there with them the whole time, who guided him when they were about to crash the ship. But anyways, they made it to Atlas. But something weird is going on. There are airships and stuff everywhere. Oh boy, I can't wait for Volume 7. We even get after credits where Salem is like adding wings to these gorillas. And guess what? She never ended up using them in volume 7 and 8. So what's even the point of this? And this is the end of volume 6. Guys, welcome to the sequel trilogy of the RWBY series. We're adding into Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker levels of terrible writing.
We are entering the 2 seasons that try and fail what Arcane did with 1, and what Korra communicated in 1 episode.
You know, I find it like funny when people say RWBY needs more episodes to flesh out their stuff, and I keep saying like, no, they should learn to pace their story out better, so that you remove all the bullshit and actually develop like important elements in it.
They don't prioritize the things they should.
Yeah, you have 9 seasons of television, and you don't prioritize like the things that actually matter.
Like, Pyro, I just want to tell you, like, you know how in Volume 1 the John arc or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, and how it's told through multiple parts? People had to wait like actual weeks for each of those episodes. The whole John arc thing.
Yeah, like I remember when I watched like Volume 9 when the episodes came out weekly. And every time an episode ended, I was like, that's it? Barely anything happened.
And even when they like do focus on the stuff you should focus on, they're also super inconsistent with it. So they both suffer from a lack of focus and a lack of consistency.
Consistency in RWBY? Since when?
And it isn't funny how the more we get into the series, the more I hate every character.
Yeah, literally, this is worse than Volume 5. I don't care. Like, it's already so brain dead stupid. I'm pretty sure you can see what the issue was with Volume 4, 5, and 6. They have been wasting so much time on things that barely matter to the story, with unnecessary side quests and characters that aren't given much to do. This is what happens when you destroy the school in Volume 3 and have these underdeveloped characters go to some great adventure, which we are given no reason to care about them being involved in, other than the fact that the script says so. Once again, I am not surprised that a lot of people dropped out of the show, because most of the 3 volumes have been a huge waste of time. There was no way for them to recover from it if this is the way they're gonna keep on writing the show and never learn from their mistakes. I'm surprised so many people call this volume good or better than Volume 5 when Volume 6 did more damage to these characters and world building. The main characters are even more unlikable than they were previously, and it was definitely not gonna be better in Volume 7. Volume 6 feels like the setup to a bigger disaster. The characters have basically achieved nothing other than stealing an airship and make their way to Atlas, which if you weren't gonna do much this volume anyways, then just have the characters already in Atlas if you're just gonna waste time. But don't worry, Volume 6 is not the worst volume of RWBY. The worst is yet to come. So tune in next time when I'm taking a look at RWBY Volume 7, The Force Awakens.